Apocalypse, I built the infinite train. Welcome back, brave explorers of impossible worlds. We are excited to have you here to continue this odyssey together. Before we continue, everything you'll hear is pure fiction, so please don't try to replicate combat techniques at home. This wonderful story and all its rights belong to its brilliant original author. We are only the messengers of entertainment. Want another dose of adventure? Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single chapter, and if you can't wait, our Patreon has exclusive surprises you'll love. Chapter 126, Circumstellar Orbit. There's a valley ahead. We should be able to see Ubuntu City if we turn around. This section of road should merge into the main line in front of the Ubuntu freight station. Infinity broke through the snow and increased its speed on the snowfield. I hope everything goes well. Lin Xian looked solemn. Although he said so, the team members all knew that the situation in Ubuntu City was extremely complicated at the moment. Many survivors went to the high-altitude corridor on the airport port. There were also people from the former federal organization, the Iron Guard Brigade, the Airport Guard Regiment, local survivors in Ubuntu City, and so on. And from the news on the radio, the atmospheric jellyfish was also floating towards Ubuntu City. With such thick snow, ordinary convoys may even have difficulty moving without snowplows, Chen Sixuan said. Lin Xian responded, in this case, the survivors will either go to large urban gathering points to wait for the official organization of a large-scale migration, or join a large convoy or a doomsday train like us. It is difficult for a small convoy to survive unless it has very strong superpowers. From the initial escape from Xingyun in the turmoil to the present, with the passage of time and the call of the authorities and various survivors, the surviving survivors will gradually clarify the direction of survival, and all parties will huddle together for warmth. Human organizational power will also begin to work, and gradually move from disordered chaos to order. If we pass the high-altitude corridor, we should be able to catch our breath. However, heading east from Star City, we'll reach the edge of Star Abyss number 4. The further we go, the faster it will get dark. Passing the edge of the polar night zone presents many unknown risks. Whoosh, snow splattered from the front of the train as the Infinity sped steadily along the tracks. Soon, the train entered a valley from the snowy plains, and numerous cars began to appear buried beneath the snow. Brother Lin, those two are awake, Sasha's voice came over the intercom. Lin Xian responded, give them some bread and water, and leave them alone, okay? With a thud, the front of the train seemed to collide with a car or something. Lin Xian, look, Teacher Chen pointed ahead and shouted to Lin Xian. Lin Xian looked up and saw a large gunship had crashed on the slopes of the valley ahead, carving a vast gully in the ground. Debris splattered everywhere, flames still blazing in many places, and a thin layer of snow had coated many of the internal components. It looked like it had crashed last night. The others on the train also witnessed this scene. Zhao Yan and Su Wen were wolfing down the bread Shasha had given them when Su Wen suddenly exclaimed in surprise, Teacher Zhao, look! It's a military aircraft. The two stared in amazement. The crash was horrific. Only a few scattered soldiers' bodies could be seen, most covered in blood. Ding Junai, from carriage 3, also came to the window and observed the scene, whispering, Iron Guard Brigade. Kiki also ran over from the cockpit. The vast open space ahead began to reveal more and more weapon wreckage, tanks, helicopters, aircraft, gunships. Everywhere was charred, burning, sparking, and the increasing number of dead soldiers spoke volumes about the devastating battle that had taken place there. Iron Guard 3, Destroyer, oh my goodness. Warhawk-class aerial gunships. Heavy TFV-600 double-barreled tanks, Lightning II aerospace fighters, what on earth have they encountered? Could it be the giant jellyfish? Kiki exclaimed. It's very likely. Lin Xian's expression darkened. He saw the main battle equipment of the Interstellar Army's Iron Guard Brigade, and the fact that they had been so brutally defeated was truly horrifying. Were they completely wiped out? No, I think the radio reported that the 52nd Brigade is retreating towards Ubuntu City. The situation there must be very complicated, Chen Sixuan said with some concern. If there's a strange aerial entity, the high-altitude corridor is indeed no longer safe, but we have no other options, Lin Xian said. The Dezhoshan tunnel was already blocked, and it was too late to change the western route. Now they had only one option left, to rush up the climbing passage. A loud buzz. A buzz. A loud sound of breaking through the air was heard. Everyone looked up to the sky and saw a small aircraft flying rapidly high in the sky. seemingly heading towards underground city number 9. Is this a plane from the former federal government or the Order of the Phoenix? I don't know. Lin Xian glanced at it, not paying much attention. Beneath the ruins of underground city number 9 lay a giant abyss monster, and no one knew if it would ever rise to the surface. Even if Lin Xian were told there was treasure there, he wouldn't turn back. As the train slowly advanced, the view ahead gradually opened up. A massive gully appeared on the ground and hillside, its irregular shape stretching intermittently into the distance. This gully was filled with wrecked vehicles, broken pieces, vehicle structures, and even an overturned, burning military transport train. At the edge of a deep gully, a massive gray tentacle was shattered, surrounded by an indescribable liquid and human blood. Lin Xian remembered the shape of the gully and the tentacle, and said solemnly, "It's indeed that atmospheric jellyfish. These convoys can't withstand it." Chen Sixuan gulped, realizing belatedly. The danger that night was so bizarre and strange. If Lin Xian and the building hadn't preemptively covered the armored roof, their train might have been torn apart and derailed like the military transport train. The Infinity continued along the valley, descending from Dalao Mountain. A vast industrial city gradually emerged into view. They had reached the outskirts of Yubai City. In the distance, giant sky-high corridors loomed in the cold mist, extending towards the snow-capped mountains of Dazhu Mountain. To traverse the 4,500-kilometer-long snow-capped mountain range, the federal government spent over 30 years constructing an aerial freight track. Like an airport elevator, all cars, trains, and freight vehicles are transported to their next port using electromagnetic acceleration at speeds exceeding 1,000 kilometers per hour. Yubai City's #1 airport is a crucial transportation hub connecting the western and central urban areas of Longguo. This high-altitude corridor is not unique. The 320,000-kilometer circumstellar orbit, encompassing not only the high-altitude corridor but also oceanic and terrestrial tracks, connects the entire blue planet. This is an unprecedented mega-project. Spanning tens of thousands of kilometers of land, the circumstellar orbit stretches eastward, spanning 9 continents: Asia-Pacific, Oceania, North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Arctic, East Continent, and Republic, as well as the Pacific, Black, Arctic, and Atlantic Oceans. It is arguably the most important transportation hub in human history. A massive skyscraper obscured the sky, while the distant city was utterly silent. The Infinity train merged onto the main Y3365 track, heading towards the Yubai Freight Railway Terminal. Several city roads and highways came into view, and all the roads leading into the city were practically blocked by a continuous stream of cars. Blood, body parts, burning car frames, and scattered luggage and clothing were buried beneath the heavy snow. As the train slowly advanced toward Yubai City, a drone buzzed in the distance, approaching rapidly. It seemed to observe for a moment, then turned back. Lin Xian noticed something unusual. Just then, a snowmobile drove across the snowy plains, heading in the direction of the train, heading towards the cockpit. Everyone on board stood on guard until the woman driving the snowmobile removed her helmet, revealing a familiar face. "Captain Lin?" Stop for a moment. Lin Xian recognized this woman. It was Xu Qin, the leader of the monster truck team who had asked Lin Xian to help fix her water purifier at the Bonfire Mutual Aid meeting. My new book has reached 2,000 monthly votes for the first time since its release. Thank you all for your support. I'll be adding more chapters today. I'm still asking for monthly votes and subscriptions. Chapter 127 Night Invasion. P.S. The speed of electromagnetic acceleration in the high-altitude corridor in the previous chapter was wrong. It was adjusted from 500 kilometers to 1,000 kilometers and has been modified. Squeak Infinity slowly stopped, Lin Xian opened the door, and the snowmobile drove over. Shuken seemed much more haggard than a few days ago, with dry skin and macy hair. When she saw Lin Xian stop the car, she immediately buckled her helmet on the motorcycle, her face a little anxious. "I didn't expect it was really your car. It seems I called the right person." Lin Xian looked curious. "Shuken, where are the people in your team?" "Over there." Shuken pointed in the direction of the freight terminal in the distance. "Now we have 4 teams gathering there, preparing to enter the city together, but a lot of situations have happened. You have to be careful too." "What's the situation?" Lin Xian asked. "It's very complicated. Do you want to stop at the freight platform in front? If it is convenient, several of our teams can rush into the airport together. There are too many zombies over there, and there is fog. Some weird bodies appear in the city day and night, and many teams have suffered heavy losses. Okay, let's talk when we get into the station, Lin Xian agreed decisively. Looking at the gloomy and gray industrial city ahead, he felt a little uneasy in his heart. The situation on the radio station indicated that this place was a complete dead zone. All the survivors and official organizations had gathered in the area around Airport 1, but Lin Xian didn't want to rush in directly. He thought having someone to accompany them would at least provide some support. With a clang, clang, the train began to move forward, merging onto the double track. Shukin put on her helmet again and sped along on her snowmobile. Soon, the train entered a large freight terminal. Numerous abandoned trains were parked densely around it. The tracks lay covered in the corpses of zombies, seemingly having been cleared. The train rolled over the area until it reached an open area, where dozens of survivors' vehicles, including several heavy trucks, were parked in a staggered pattern alongside the tracks. The armor and bloodstains on the vehicles revealed that these convoys had emerged from a brutal battle. Survivors were either extremely lucky or truly courageous, their strength significantly enhanced. Seeing the train approach, many guards raised their weapons, but lowered them upon realizing it was Shukin leading the way. The train slowly pulled in. Sasha Kiki, Chen Sixuan, and the others peered out the windows at the convoy. The survivors also cast their gazes upon the heavily armored train. Another train, wow, the armor on this train is outrageous. It looks like it was custom-made at an arsenal. It's nothing like our standard sheet metal, it looks like a doomsday train rolled off the assembly line. Could it be made by the Federation? Who knows, but it sure is cool, many of the survivors began to whisper. After the train stopped, Lin Xian opened the door and exited. Several leaders-like figures approached from a distance. Lin Xian recognized two of them, Shukin and the middle-aged man named Su Jin. It was clear that the two convoys were heading towards Yubai City as a group. Let me introduce you, Captain Lin, the leader of the Infinite Team, Shukin said in a hurry. Old Su, you should know him. She pointed to another older old man with some gray hair and introduced him. Mo Changzi, we all call him Old Mo, the boss of the Tilly team, and he used to be a mechanical engineer at Kevo Heavy Industry. Tisk tisk tisk, the old man called Old Mo had a thin face. He was obviously in his 50s or 60s, but he was wearing a punk Harley leather jacket and tights, a white plaid scarf and sunglasses, which looked fashionable. He walked directly to the front of the Infinite Giant Whale 03E heavy gas turbine locomotive, raised his sunglasses and his eyes sparkled. It's so beautiful, I didn't expect to see such a treasure when the doomsday comes. Hey, young man, where did you find it? You can even drive this thing. It must be the first generation of power turbine, right? It's amazing. Lin Xian could see that the old man was an expert, and responded directly, yes, it took some effort. Mo Changzi nodded, stretched out his hand and patted the steel on the front of the train and said, it's wonderful, but the terrain restriction is a big problem. From yesterday to now, we have seen several trains passing by. In addition to the Intercontinental-class trains of the Federation Phoenix Order and the Iron Guard Brigade, there is also an Eternal-class train called the Silver Star. It is a doomsday train built by the Finger Group family. It came from Yangchang. It is a real Eternal-class train. It has 118 carriages and carries more than 3,000 people. It has 2 sets of micro-engine cores and 4 sets of railguns. There is also an Intercontinental-class train of Longshan City, Longshan No. 1, which was transformed by the whole city of Longshan City. That one is also powerful. The double-decker carriage building has almost been transformed into a mobile city. It is an absolute giant, but the problem is still the terrain. Although these trains have enough manpower and track-laying equipment, they are still restricted. It is not like a heavy truck that we modified to run freely. His expression was a bit entangled with love. At first glance, he looked like a man who had been engaged in mechanical engineering all his life. Airplanes offer more freedom, but what's the point? Su Jin sighed. Just got the news. The aerospace city, Kingluan, completely crashed yesterday, sinking into the Pacific Ocean. I wonder how many people died. Alice, you can escape the star abyss, but you can't escape the darkness, he continued. Each has its advantages. Driving is freer, but with a blizzard going on right now, without a heavy snow plow, you're essentially waiting to die. Did the glasses team get better that way? Upon hearing this, Lin Xian immediately asked, glasses? Is that the guy I traded blood essence with last time? He remembered him. Back then, The team had just been involved in a major battle, and the glasses-wearing man looked desolate. His team still had quite a few people, but they were wiped out so quickly. Yes, did they encounter a mysterious attack? No, Shukin said, her face darkening. They were trapped in the snowstorm, but the invasion of darkness caused someone in the team to mutate, which is why they were in trouble. Darkness invasion, Lin Xian realized. Could this be the night infection that Ding Junai had mentioned? Are there any defenses against night invasion? Lin Xian asked. No. Lao Mo walked past Lin Xian, waved his hand, and said in a hoarse voice, anyone who is injured, whose willpower is low, or who is already weak will be devoured by this evil at any time. Becoming something neither human nor ghost, Shukin nodded, looked at Lin Xian, and said, so now, anyone injured in our team will be isolated in a separate cart to prevent a chain reaction. Lin Xian was secretly surprised by this. He recalled the invisible fallen demon when Kiki was seriously injured, and the train was invaded by the strange radio station. It was indeed a thrilling experience. But now that he had the heterogeneous Rubik's Cube, did this mean that this situation would never happen again on his train? If so, then his infinity was a safe house in the code. Where's Zhang Yun? Lin Xian thought of the wind-chasing team. Zhang Yun was no simple character in Lin Xian's eyes. Now that he met Shukin and Su Jin again, he couldn't help but ask. After that night, they headed towards Pinga Lake, but I remember his convoy should also be heading into Yubai City, don't you know? Su Jin looked at Lin Xian in surprise. There was a zombie riot that night. Weren't you affected? Lin Xian's heart sank when he heard this, and he said, did you encounter it too? Brothers, please support my new book with your monthly tickets, thank you very much. Chapter 128 Pure Water. We all encountered them. If it weren't for Zhang Yun, we'd have been nearly wiped out, Shukin shouted, anger gleaming in her eyes. There's a gang called the Black Crow 4, specializing in killing people with special abilities. One of them seems to have the ability to drive away zombies. That night, our entire convoy gathered at the factory, and they targeted us all. Later, Zhang Yun and Big Beard's convoy pursued them all the way to Pinga Lake. Big Beard's convoy suffered heavy losses, and Zhang Yun's younger brother, Dong Dong, also died there. But then, judging by the radio transmissions from the foursome, they finally got away. How despicable. At this point, Shukin's face was filled with resentment. It seemed like they'd also suffered considerable losses from the zombie wave that night. Lin Xian, upon hearing this, suddenly realized what was happening and couldn't help but curse inwardly. It turns out that the zombie tide had nothing to do with Tang Hai. It seemed he had truly run into two troubles at once. Dong Dong, when Lin Xian heard Shukin mention Zhang Yun's subordinate, he suddenly remembered the young man who had led them that night in Guan and then came back to remind them to be careful. A hint of pity crossed his face. Yes, they were a bunch of lunatics, Lin Xian nodded, his mind suddenly clear. That night had been incredibly dangerous, and he had actually made such a grudge. Oh, there's another one, Shukin suddenly remembered, returning to the topic. She pointed in the distance. There, a large, heavily armored, modified RV was parked on the side of the road. A parasol sat in the open space beneath it. A young man wearing sunglasses was reclining on a beach chair. Beside him was a small table, where tea was brewing and delicate pastries were laid out. His relaxed demeanor was a stark contrast to the gloomy faces of the survivors. Who's this? He doesn't look like he's fleeing, but more like he's on vacation. His name is Lu Xingchen. He's the only one in his team, a lone ranger. We met him in Daluo Mountain, and he helped us a lot on the way to Yubai, Shukin introduced. His supernatural powers are very strong. He can even handle ordinary strange bodies by himself. Lin Xian's brows lifted when he heard this, and he understood. He looked over and saw that the man was drinking tea, lowering his sunglasses to look at Lin Xian, and raise his hand to greet him. Hi. Lin Xian also nodded back, but the man ignored him and continued to sip his tea. After a round of pleasantries, Lin Xian had a rough idea of the various convoys. Shukin's monster truck convoy now consisted of 7 vehicles, with a total of over 30 people, all equipped with moderate weapons. Su Jin's convoy had 18 vehicles, and the 2 convoys combined had 3 heavy trucks, totaling over 100 people. Lao Mo Changzi's convoy consisted of 2 high-end all-terrain tracked heavy trucks. Besides his family, they also included the families of several of his close friends, totaling over 20 people. Although his convoy included both men and women, The configuration of these two all-terrain tracked heavy trucks was quite impressive. Besides the front and rear tracked wheels, they also had 6 pairs of large off-road tires. They were heavily armored and equipped with observation towers, revealing their sophisticated construction. A cool spray-painted sunglasses pattern and the words Iron Family were added. So everyone is stopping here now. Have you encountered any trouble? After introducing each other, Lin Xian said straight to the point. Shukin and Sujin looked at Lin Xian, their expressions changed slightly, and Shukin said directly, "There is a large strange body in the city." Lin Xian frowned when he heard it. "Are you talking about the giant jellyfish? Did you encounter it too?" Shukin asked. Lin Xian said bluntly, "We encountered it by chance when entering Daluo Mountain, but we were lucky and avoided it." "Then you are really lucky." Lao Mo raised his sunglasses. "Even the Iron Guard Brigade was defeated when it encountered it. When we encounter this thing, we have no other way but to run. In addition, there is the problem of road congestion." Sujin also said in a deep voice, "All roads in the city are now blocked. The city is full of zombies, densely packed, plus the problems of snow and icy roads. We can't drive through at all, so after we found those trains going to the airport, we decided to drive the car onto the rails and drive along the tracks. Although it is a bit troublesome, our cars can run. Also, there is fog in the city now, and those jellyfish are unpredictable. Many survivor convoys have lost contact, so we want to gather more convoys and then rush over together." "Wait," Lin Xian frowned, "those jellyfish? Isn't there only one?" Shukin was surprised. "There must be more than one, but unlike the large strange creature in Daluo Mountain, the ones in the fog are relatively small." Sujin shrugged. "Maybe they are the offspring of that big guy. Anyway, several of these things have been seen in the city now." "No wonder," Lin Xian nodded. "I understand. The climbing channel is still running. We can all go by track. I will lead the way in front, and you can follow behind. It will also provide more firepower if we encounter any trouble." Lin Xian was still frightened by those strange creatures in the air. Although the Infinity now has sufficient protection, its external firepower points are just a few guns. Before 1130 is produced, the fear of insufficient firepower cannot be cured at all. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Shukin's expression brightened, and she exclaimed joyfully, "Great, Captain Lin. With you joining us, our chances are even better." "I can't tell, young man." Lao Mo's attention was completely focused on Lin Xian's train. He swayed and glanced at the back of the Infinity. "I didn't realize you had an intercontinental-class nuclear-powered locomotive. How many passengers are on board?" "Less than 10, Lin Xian said bluntly, having nothing to hide. Unexpectedly, the 3 people looked at Lin Xian with strange eyes. Sujin exclaimed in surprise, "With less than 10 people, you dared to drive such a large train away? You're so brave. Are all of you on board like that Lu Xingjian, powerful psychics?" Shukin asked. "There are also ordinary people," Lin Xian replied. "I'm also looking for suitable teammates to join me, but along the way, I've encountered more monsters than people. I'm lucky to have made it back alive." Shukin fell silent after this. "There are more monsters on the road than people, and that's no exaggeration. Zombies and strange entities are everywhere, making it difficult to spot a few living people. If you encounter the same fleeing vehicle, you might find thugs trying to hijack it. Therefore, many of the convoys Jiang Yun recruited during the bonfire mutual aid have spontaneously banded together to provide support along the way." Even now, when Lin Xian met Shukin again, he felt a little more trusting than he would with any other stranger. This is a rare occurrence in the dark forest of the apocalypse, where everyone is in danger. "Then let's decide it this way." Lao Mo rubbed his hands energetically. "Zio Lin's train will lead, and I'll cover the rear. Although most of the people in my 2 cars are old bones, my truck is not a pushover, and there are a lot of things on it. By the way, Captain Lin." Shukin walked towards his team at this time, took out a box from the storage box and handed it to Lin Xian. "Last time you helped me fix the water purifier, I only gave you a box of cans, and I always felt a little sorry. Since we have the chance to meet again, I will give you a set of this. You should need it. These are a few boxes of reverse osmosis filter membranes we found yesterday. The quality is very good. Now the purifiers of Lao Su's team and I can filter out grade 2 pure water. Even if the water is not boiled, the water quality can fully meet the drinking standards. There is no problem for more than 100 of us to drink it. Brothers, please support my new book with monthly tickets. Thank you very much." If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, It means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 129 Water Purifier. Lin Xian took it with some surprise, and couldn't help but ask, Level 2 purified water standards, are they the standards the Phoenix Club provides? Yes, Su Jin pulled out a silver testing instrument. Phoenix Club research instruments, including the soul value detector. We exchanged blood essence for them on the Silver Star. They've purchased a lot of things from the Phoenix Club's mobile rescue station. I heard they even have some light industrial manufacturing equipment on board, which is more standard than the original ones. There should be members of the Federation Phoenix Club at the airport now, but I don't know if they can exchange things. Lin Xian thought for a moment, then returned to the train, filled a glass of water with the water purifier, and left. Brother Su, can you test this water for me? Su Jin nodded. Is it the water purifier on the train? Okay, I'll test it for you. The test was a simple matter. Su Jin simply placed the silver testing instrument into Lin Xian's water cup. After a few seconds, a green light flashed on the instrument. Lin Xian thought this was a sign that the test was complete, but when Su Jin and the other two saw it, their faces changed drastically. Grade 1 purified water, what? Lao Mo lowered his sunglasses and looked at Lin Xian with a stern expression. Young man, did you just distill this? No, Lin Xian asked in surprise. It's water from a purifier. Su Jin and Shukin exchanged glances. How is that possible? Even high-end water purifiers nowadays are basically grade 2 after purification. Unless it's distilled immediately, if it's stored for more than an hour it will become contaminated and won't maintain grade 1 standards. Is that possible? Lin Xian turned and said to Chen Sixuan in the car, Teacher Chen, can you get me some bottled water? Chen Sixuan nodded and quickly handed Lin Xian an unopened bottle. Lin Xian then poured the water into a cup for Su Jin to test. It's useless. Even sealed bottled water can't escape the effects of the night. Su Jin picked up the testing instrument and a yellow light flickered on. Look, green represents level 1, yellow represents level 2, and orange and red water are absolutely undrinkable. Seeing this, Lin Xian couldn't help but frown. He understood. Even the purest sealed bottled water could be infected by the dark night, but according to Su Jin and the others, level 2 was still drinkable. So, the water from his water purifier was actually cleaner than the bottled water? How could this be? Thinking of this, Lin Xian pondered, if water stored for more than an hour would be contaminated, then there was only one way to test it. He just had to filter the bottled water through the purifier. If it remained level 1 after being in the car for more than an hour, then that would prove that the heterogeneous cube had indeed blocked the dark night infection. Captain Lin, what model is your water purifier? It can actually filter out level 1 pure water directly. Su Jin and Shukin's eyes were filled with eagerness. Although even the purest water would become level 2 if stored for more than an hour, and boiling the water wouldn't bring it to level 1, it would certainly be better psychologically. If they truly wanted grade 1 purified water, they could only do so through distillation, but this was even more energy intensive than boiling. Few teams were so picky. As long as they could achieve grade 2, which wouldn't kill them, they'd be fine. Lin Xian's water purifier, however, could directly filter out grade 1 purified water without distillation. Would that mean they could drink the purest water anytime, anywhere? This was truly high-end equipment. I acquired it earlier, Lin Xian said, pausing after a moment as he glanced at the eager eyes of the others. But I have more than one set on my vehicle. If you want one, you can trade it with me for blood essence. Manufacturing such a water purifier wasn't particularly difficult for Lin Xian, and there was no point in hiding it. It would be better to trade it for some blood essence. There were only 2 blood essences aboard the Infinity, a grade 1 one stored on the radio, and a grade 2 on the soul drain meter. There really wasn't much to spare. Really? Su Jin's eyes lit up when he heard this. Captain Lin, how many do you have? 2, Lin Xian shrugged. But I need to disassemble them. You actually have 2 of these high-end devices. Good boy, you've found a treasure, Lao Mo tutted. How much blood essence do you want? I'll trade it in for 1 too. Su Jin and Shukin exchanged a glance. Our 2 teams can share one. Adding it to the existing one should be enough, but we don't have much blood essence, all small. I heard that the big weird ones have larger blood essence, but we're no match for them. For over 100 people, 1 level 1 pure water purifier and 2 level 2 pure water purifiers would definitely be enough. Sujin and Shukin reasoned that if the water from the level 1 purifiers was only used for children and the injured, the risk of being attacked by the Dark Knight would be reduced. We have 5 right now, some of which we've exchanged for. Sujin produced 5 small blood essences. Lin Xian took one look and realized they were the smallest of the strange, level 1 blood essences. They were roughly the same level as the giant redbug, the fog spider, and the three-faced monster. He was a bit surprised. It seemed the opposing team was quite formidable. Indeed, having more people was a way to increase strength. 3, then, Lin Xian pondered. He didn't want to ask for too much, but he knew the water purifier was crucial. Asking for too little would seem a bit pretentious. Really, Sujin and Shukin agreed immediately, handing over 3 blood essences and placing them in Lin Xian's hands. Old Mo said nothing. He reached into his pocket and rummaged around, then pulled out a metal box. Opening it, he found 4 blood essences inside. Give Xiaol and the others some clean water. I'll get one too, Lin Xian nodded without a word. After accepting the 6 blood essences, he returned to the car. About 10 minutes later, he and Delu, one in front and one behind, carried 2 water purifiers down. These A1 class subcritical reverse osmosis water purifiers were quite large, a full circle larger than the ones Shukin and her team had originally used. Meanwhile, members of Sujin and Shukin's team gathered around, staring at the sci-fi looking white water purifiers with amazement. Wow, this water purifier looks so high-end, it must be top-tier stuff from the upper echelons of the Federation. I wonder how much it's worth. Sujin and Shukin quickly had them taken and loaded onto the team's heavy-duty trucks, which housed most of the team's core equipment and vital survival supplies. Thank you so much. Shukin looked at Lin Xian with gratitude, then glanced at Lin Xian's train. It's been so tiring traveling all this time. If I had the chance, I'd really like my whole family to join you. It's so hard to survive in this world. Lin Xian sighed softly at this. He had actually thought before that if the train was longer and more survival cars were added, he could actually take a lot more passengers. Including the Silver Star he just heard Lao Mo talk about, and the moving castle in Longshan City. It sounded a lot like the goal he had wanted to achieve in the first place. Now hearing Shukin say this, he also had some ideas. Brothers, please support my new book with monthly tickets. Thank you so much. Chapter 130 Alliance. We are now a team, but the current situation makes it impossible to bring so many of you. We still have so many things in the car. If we can survive and cross the Dazhu Plateau, and then find a few survival carriages in Jiashao City, maybe we can really form a mobile fortress train together and survive together. At present, the Infinity does not have enough survival carriages, and the top priority now is to get to the high-altitude track. It is about to get dark, and the city is shrouded in fog. Solving the current dilemma is the top priority. In this case, how can Lin Xian have time to prepare the train and find a suitable carriage? The entire freight platform is either container carriages or flatbed trailers. Ideas are ideas, but the reality is not so ideal. Shukin had only been talking, but unexpectedly, Lin Xian's words moved her quite deeply. She smiled and said, "Thank you. Well, I'll try to survive and keep up with your train." That's a great sentiment. Old Mo was obviously not so sentimental. He grinned and said very casually, "But I suggest that if you have the chance, you can go to Xingchang or Jinhei to convert a train into a wheel-tracked version. The technology that can interactively change position is called dual amphibious conversion drive wheels. If you can do it, you can drive it anywhere you want, without the need for tracks at all." Sujin also took a deep breath and said embarrassedly, "You have either tracks or tracks, but the roads are much wider than those for our trucks and off-road vehicles. Otherwise, let's stop talking nonsense and rush into the city before dark." Although the airport said that the climbing channel will be completely shut down tomorrow, now that big guy's in the sky, there's no guarantee that the airport can be defended. If we can't get up, no matter how much we say, we will all die in Yubai City. Lin Xian nodded, his expression growing serious. "Okay, then, let's set off together. Everyone, cheer up and don't fall behind. Have a safe trip. Have a safe trip. Thank you for your hard work, young man." The few of them exchanged greetings, and this impromptu alliance was forged. Sujin returned to the fleet and began making arrangements. Soon, several vehicles parked on the roadside ahead moved out of the way. Lu Xingjian, leisurely sitting in the RV in the distance, saw this and lowered his sunglasses, stretched, and began to pack up his parasol and lounge chair. He returned to the car. "Who's that guy? He seems so cocky." In the cockpit of the Infinity, Kiki and Sasha peered in Lin Xian's direction through binoculars. They curled their lips and said, "Sunbathing in this cold weather? Is he hot?" Lin Xian entered the cockpit, synchronized the information he had just shared with the others, and then slowly started the train, heading towards the freight station exit. Because it's an industrial city nestled beneath the snow-capped mountains of the plateau, the freight station offers a distant view of the city's outer reaches, nestled within a valley. The main urban area isn't visible yet. However, from that distant perspective, the massive pillars of the high-altitude quarters can be seen, towering majestically. "Zizizi, Captain Lin, can you hear me?" The Alliance team confirmed the intercom's communication frequency. Lin Xian, Lao, Shuqin, Su Jin, and the mysterious Lin Xian all joined the channel and began to communicate. From the top of a heavy truck with tires clad in anti-skid chains, Shuqin spoke into the intercom. "It's 6:15 p.m. now, and it'll be dark in about half an hour. I estimate it'll take us about 40 minutes to get to the airport from here. If nothing goes wrong, it doesn't matter whether it's dark or not. There's fog inside." The strange entities the Phoenix Society mentioned appearing during the day are probably referring to this type of area. "I don't know how many monsters there are, but it's probably about the same as at night," Su Jin's voice echoed. In his opinion, the situation in Yubai City had deteriorated drastically. This drive-in was a desperate struggle for everyone, regardless of day or night. The ascent route was about to close, and for the nearly 200 people, this was their last chance. "Yes, the fog is just like night," Lin said into the intercom. He had experienced a fog escape in Bwin before, and he knew it was just like night. Now that he thought about it, it had indeed started snowing when they entered Bwin, and the situation seemed to be exactly as the Phoenix Society had reported. "Let's go, everyone, be careful." Lin Xian's expression was slightly stern as he began to slowly drive the train off the tracks. The main road was clear of snow, likely having been cleared by other trains. Aboard the Infinity, everyone also began to be on alert. Lu and Shasha were both heavily armed. Because of Lin Xian's manufacturing plant, Shasha was now carrying an ammunition backpack loaded with howitzers. Lu's ammunition belt was wrapped around his shoulders twice, giving him a very affluent look. "We're going to see that giant jellyfish again." Kiki rubbed her hands, a headache on her face. "I really hate things with tentacles." Click, click, click. Lin Xian used the detector blueprint he had scanned from Su Jin and quickly created a water quality detector of the same design. He handed it to Chen Sixuan. "Teacher Chen, take a glass of water and test it. If it's green, it's level 1 water quality. Then test it again after an hour to see if the water quality has changed." Chen Sixuan understood Lin Xian's intention and immediately went to get some water. Kiki asked Lin Xian, "Do you also think the dark infection can directly affect the water in the bottle?" "Of course it does," Lin Xian said, turning back to Kiki. "But what I need to test now is the protection on our train." Lin Xian wanted to explain the heterogeneous cube to her, but then realized he couldn't quite make it out. Even he had a vague idea about concepts like dark invasion, night infection, and terror invasion, so it was pointless to explain. This matter should be left to the Phoenix Society's Ding Junai and others to investigate. Only after they had a definitive answer could they understand the heterogeneous cube's shielding power. For now, as long as he could confirm that the water on the train hadn't changed in quality over time, then he could be certain the heterogeneous cube was indeed a magical artifact. He could just use it. Such a thing was undoubtedly something the Federation was eager to study, but Lin Xian's mechanical heart couldn't detect it, so he could only seal it up, so he decided not to delve into it. Clang, clang. The Infinity began to pull out of the platform and headed along the mountainside towards the city. Behind the train, countless trucks and cars began to follow in an orderly fashion, with Lao Mo's 2 extravagant-looking fortress trucks trailing at the very back. Amidst the moving vehicles, an exquisitely designed RV led the convoy. The driver, Lin Xian, wore sunglasses, his features handsome, and whistled, appearing relaxed. Inside, a string of Buddhist amulets dangled from the rearview mirror, and the padded dashboard was covered with exquisite collectibles. The RV was clean and tidy, a stark contrast to the style of the survivors who had been fleeing all day. Listening to the intense conversations of the convoy leaders over the intercom, he simply raised the corners of his lips and muttered quietly, "Everyone's so nervous, eh? He raised his sunglasses with a finger. A tiny flame ignited at his fingertips, then he gently blew it out. No problem, I'll do it. New book, please vote for me. Brothers, get in the car, go. Chapter 131 Entering the City. Buzz buzz buzz. A heavy train slowly pulled out of the Uber City freight track, followed by a long line of heavy trucks and off-road vehicles, all heading towards Uba City's #1 airport. Passing a valley, the main urban area head came into view. As night fell, the entire city of Uba was shrouded in a blanket of gray and black, appearing heavy and desolate. As the departure point for #1 airport, Uba City was once the largest industrial and freight port city in southwest China before the apocalypse. It boasted a vast and prosperous urban landscape, known as the Pearl of Xianhe Province. All access to the interstellar orbit from Xianhe Province must pass through Uba City's #1 airport. The sky-high pillars that once fueled the city's economic growth and production now stood erect across the Great Pillar Plateau, like tombstones to the city. A chill wind blew, and the whistling beneath the horizon seemed to sing an urge for humanity. Zombies gradually appeared on both sides of the track, chasing after the roar of trains and cars. Gradually, the number of zombies chasing them increased, but the convoys seemed accustomed to such scenes. They maintained their formation throughout the journey, no one fired a shot, and no vehicles fell behind, maintaining a remarkably good discipline. Lin Xian, watching the convoys behind him through the onboard camera of his nuclear-powered locomotive, felt melancholy. The convoys that managed to survive seemed no ordinary team. However, he was somewhat surprised to find that Lao, Shuken, and Sujin's convoys possessed quite a number of strange blood essences. He wondered if there were hidden talents within their ranks. After all, the strange entities he had encountered were truly. It seems we really need more manpower. If there were 100 people on the train, each equipped with a grenade launcher, wouldn't that be a powerful bombing company? The thought suddenly intrigued Lin Xian. With a supernatural power system in his arsenal, building a heavy fire convoy was indeed a viable survival plan. Just as Lin Xian was secretly planning and preparing to pull out his upgrade diary, the scene ahead froze his expression. The train continued its journey, entering the city. High walls and barbed wire blocked the tracks on both sides, yet just beyond the fence, the roads and streets were densely packed with people. From a distance, it looked like a swimming black tide. Ugh, the vibrations set off the zombies' screams. Shuken, Sujin, Lao, and the others in the back, seeing this scene, all paled slightly. The city is flooded with zombies. Attention! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Follow the infinity and don't fall behind, Sujin warned everyone coldly over the intercom. With such a massive zombie tide, if it invaded the tracks or the convoy was dispersed, ordinary off-road vehicles, except heavy trucks, would find it difficult to navigate, overwhelmed by the surging tide. The further into the city they traveled, the more zombies filled the surrounding streets, spreading out until seemingly every street was infested. Boom, boom, boom. As the convoy steadily advanced, a series of explosions suddenly erupted from the distant city streets, gradually approaching. At the same time, the sound of gunfire and the roar of engines echoed through the streets. Lin Xian glanced over and saw the dense swarm of zombies roaming the street in the distance, to the right and ahead of the convoy. As if stimulated by the sound, swarming in a certain direction. The scene became eerie. Some of the zombies near the convoy rushed towards the barbed wire and high walls surrounding the tracks, while those in the distance rushed towards the louder explosions. It looks like there's a convoy fighting over there, Shuken's voice came over the intercom. Sujin spoke calmly, everyone, stay alert. It won't affect us for now. Don't disrupt your formation, send out the drones to check, Lin Xian said to Kiki over the in-car radio. Kiki responded quickly, and 2 drones took off, following the train's progress, heading towards the distant street. Da-da-da. The sounds of gunfire, crashes, and brakes drew closer, and soon the drones began to feed the footage. I see. A large convoy, but they're not fleeing. They're chasing another. Kiki's tone was a touch of surprise. A chase? With the city teeming with zombies, what hatred could be so strong as to trigger an attack at this moment? Lin Xian immediately synchronized the information on the fleet's communication channel. Shuken, who was in the truck behind, sensed something was amiss and ordered the drone from the front of the fleet to take off and approach. Shuken's face immediately changed as she watched the images of cars constantly appearing at the intersection. She picked up the intercom and shouted, I recognize that car. That large convoy is the Black Crow 4. Su Jin and Lao Mo were startled by these words. Even Lu Xingjian, who was in the RV, stopped whistling and glanced at the distant street as he drove. Did they say there were only 4 people and 4 cars? Lin Xian frowned. I don't know. They might have grown stronger by absorbing other convoys, but several of the cars inside are indeed painted in the Black Crow 4's livery. What's wrong? Chen Sixuan asked. It's the group we heard on the radio earlier, Lin Xian replied. Chen Sixuan looked worried. Now that they're here, aren't they worried that other survivor organizations and Phoenix will take action against them? Yubi City has fallen. I guess no one can control other places except the airport. Lin Xian didn't know what those lunatics were thinking. They only killed people with special abilities. Could it be that they wanted to enhance their abilities this way? There are so many of us here now. They shouldn't take action against us, right? Lin Xian's face turned cold. Let's see if they come over. If they dare to come over, then we'll take action first. Although the current priority was to rush to the airport, when Lin Xian learned that it was this group that wanted to wipe them out during the zombie expulsion, he couldn't sleep well until this feud was resolved. Especially after hearing Shukin's story about the existence of a superpower that could repel zombies. If such an ability belonged to one of their own, it would be a deadly weapon. But if it happened to be a group of villains, then this ability would undoubtedly be an absolute disaster for them. Sasha, in the building, be alert, girl, someone's charging, kill them immediately. Got it? Sasha's voice came over the intercom in the distant car. Okay, Kiki, in car 2, sat cross-legged on a stool, a smile on her face, and from time to time she swayed and floated in the air, seemingly enjoying her evolved superpowers. Captain Lin, if that group spots us, they'll probably attack us. Shukin pulled out a black Remington M96 from behind her seat and said with a murderous look on her face, they're a bunch of lunatics. Lin Xian watched the thickening fog in the city, his expression stern. He said into the intercom, I know, it's foggy up ahead. Everyone, stay in formation. I'll keep an eye on that side. If there's going to be a fight, then we old guys can help out. Lao Mo's bright voice came from the intercom. Okay. Su Jin looked at the street in the distance with a cold expression on his face. He picked up the intercom and informed all vehicles to prepare for battle. New book, please vote for me. Brothers, get in the car and go. Chapter 132, Supernatural Hunter. Boom boom boom. On a zombie-strewn street, a heavy truck with a bucket attached frantically cut a bloody path. Behind it followed an armored bus filled with children, women, and several SUVs and pickup trucks. As the convoy fled, the occupants fired relentlessly at the rear. They're following us, the pickup truck driver yelled, looking into the rearview mirror. Damn it, the convoy's leader, a middle-aged man with blood oozing from his forehead, sat in the passenger seat of an SUV. He watched the unstoppable wave of zombies ahead and gritted his teeth. Why are all these zombies surrounding us? Rockets, someone shouted over the intercom. As soon as the words left his mouth, a whistling sound echoed. Whoosh! Boom! The trailing SUV exploded, its body overturned by the flames, and the people inside instantly turned into a fireball. AG! Legion! The middle-aged man shouted in panic, but there was no response from the intercom. Fight them! His eyes gleamed, crimson scales appeared on his neck and cheeks. His hands transformed into Tyrannosaurus claws, and he flung open the car door and climbed onto its roof. The other team members' eyes blazed with rage. Suddenly, over a dozen guns opened fire on the dark convoy behind them. A few hundred meters behind, 3 large black trucks painted with green graffiti were followed by over a dozen armored vehicles of various types. The rocket launcher was a heavily tattooed, blonde man. Even in this apocalyptic world, a cigarette dangled from his lips. With a maniacal grin, he poked his head out from the roof of an SUV, holding a rocket launcher. He watched the shattered car in front of him with a look of excitement. Ha ha ha, we hit it, he said, patting the roof. Boss, tell Luo to push harder and completely block them. The driver was a man in his early 30s with a crew cut and a gloomy expression. He was the leader of the 4-man group, named Long. A smile played on his face as he picked up the intercom and said lazily, slow down, slow down. We're entering Yuba City. Don't let too many zombies start a chain reaction, boss. Why are you still slowing down? The yellow-haired man asked in confusion. You know shit, Long said coldly, looking at the fleeing prey ahead. Having someone clear the way for us isn't a good thing. They can't escape, and the pursuit is the real thrill. Hey, I get it. A portly man was driving the lead truck. Beside him sat a punk-style, purple-haired woman with a lip piercing. At the words on the intercom, the alluring green light in her eyes slowly dimmed. She glanced at the portly man. Did you hear that? I told you to slow down, okay? The man pursed his lips, appearing pleased, but a hint of anger flickered in his eyes. If Lin were here now, he'd definitely recognize this fat man. He was Zhou Lei, the convoy captain who'd shot Jin Yu dead inside the B1 outpost that night and then fled with a car. Though seemingly simple and honest, his eyes gleamed with a fierce glint. That night, he'd managed to escape with his team thanks to the massive influx of monsters and zombies drawn to the outpost. After seizing half of the Black Dragon convoy's supply convoy, he'd expanded his group considerably during his escape, adding his own subordinates and recruiting a subordinate with a strange limb ability. His team was already considered medium-sized, but then, midway through, they were raided by the Black Crow 4, who simply took over his convoy. To save his life, he had to kneel down and become the driver of the first car. The purple-haired woman sitting next to him was none other than Luo, the third member of the Black Crow 4. Zhou Lei had witnessed her abilities before. She was a demonic being, capable of inciting a portion of the zombies into frenzy, triggering a chain reaction of attacks on their targets. It was truly insane. Under the purple-haired woman's control, the zombies swarming frantically toward the convoy ahead dwindled slightly. However, due to the widespread commotion on the street, the zombies' frenzy had slipped beyond her control, and both convoys were chased by more and more zombies. The battle intensified, with heavy trucks running overheads. Long saw a psychic from the vehicle ahead climb onto the roof and leap down at breakneck speed, dashing toward their convoy. He sneered. So it's a beast form, and it hasn't evolved yet. What a waste of time. He picked up the intercom and said, Guo, this is for you, got it? As soon as he finished speaking, the passenger door of the other truck opened, and a young man with long hair and a face that looked like he'd had too much suddenly jumped out. Just as everyone thought he would fall into the swarm of zombies, a pair of gray-black bird wings suddenly sprouted from his back. With a whoosh, he spread out and soared into the air above the street at an incredible speed, then charged directly towards the middle-aged psychic in the red-scaled beast form. Grandpa's here to teach you a lesson, he cried out, his speed surging with a fierce gust of wind. The sprinting middle-aged psychic, enraged at the sight of someone charging towards him, stomped his feet, and raised his beastly claws to tear at the birdman. A whoosh! A tremendous force sliced through the air, but Guo, with his gray bird wings, didn't even dodge, blocking his full-strength claw with a single punch. A swirl of sparks flashed, and the middle-aged man was startled. It felt as if his beastly claws were striking metal. Upon closer inspection, he saw that the man's right hand had a metallic sheen in joints. Mechanical prosthesis, unworthy, the birdman sneered, lunging back and grabbing the middle-aged man by the neck. Then, with a swift swooping wings, he lifted him up into the air, carrying him high above the street. Guo clearly wasn't going to give him the chance. Mid-flight, he let go and flung him down in midair. Bang! Before he even hit the ground, he was struck head-on by a truck coming from behind. Ouch! The bloody scene drew wild cries from the purple-haired woman and her followers. The middle-aged psychic didn't even have the chance to fight back before the massive impact slammed him into a street vendor, his life or death unknown. Flying in the air, Guo observed the scene with a grim smirk. It's a beast form, too. I wonder if it can help my powers evolve. Whatever. I'll try a few more. I doubt I'll find the right one, huh? Just as he was about to dive, he suddenly noticed something and glanced off into the distance. A few blocks away, on a large track, a heavily armored train sped along, trailed by dozens of other vehicles. Guo's eyes immediately turned cold, and he took out a walkie-talkie. Boss, guess what? We seem to have met an acquaintance. It's the train that stopped at Guiguan that day, in the off-road vehicle. Long's expression changed when he heard the words in the walkie-talkie. Oh, what a coincidence, boss. The yellow-haired man sat back in the car with an unhappy look on his face. Last time, so many fat fish ran away because of that guy named Zhang Yun. We have to avenge this. Nonsense. Who do you think I am? Long sneered and picked up the walkie-talkie. Lolo, let the zombies break up the convoy, and everyone turn in front, pull the car over. I'm asking for monthly tickets for the new book. Brothers, get in the car and go. Chapter 133 War. Buzz buzz buzz. Enemies meet on a narrow road. Several heavy trucks simultaneously turned left at the intersection. Countless zombies began to pour into the street ahead, but the Black Crow convoy seemed to be swimming among them, the zombies running forward, and the wheels rolling forward. Many zombies that rushed towards the convoy were quickly knocked away and crushed. Hearing Chu Long's instructions, many thugs in the convoy began to roar excitedly, knowing that there was a big prey waiting for them up ahead. The small convoy, previously fleeing, suddenly felt the bullets from behind cease. Before they could react, a middle-aged psychic, his skin torn and bloodied, struggled to his feet from beneath the collapsed floor in the ruins of a store on the street. Brother Dong, the convoy's voice echoed over the intercom. He stumbled to his feet and pulled out his walkie-talkie. I'm still alive, I don't know what happened, but those guys stopped chasing us, the middle-aged man panted, bewildered by the sudden turn of events. Although he didn't know what had happened, he immediately ordered his men to pick him up in a car when he had a free plane. High in the sky, Guo calmly glanced in the direction of the store. To him, the other party was just a piece of level 1 psychic trash, and the moving train was the real prize. Guo, block the road. Don't let them escape, that's exactly what I meant, Guo sneered. The ability to fly was the dream of many survivors. It allowed him to navigate the night with ease. Even if he couldn't defeat an opponent, he could always escape danger with his airborne and maneuverable nature. Over time, he'd become somewhat arrogant. Now, looking at the running train, he pulled out a grenade, flapped his wings, and flew towards the front of the train at breakneck speed. Da-da-da. The convoy in the distance, seeing the approaching figures, had already begun to fire. Captain Lin, be careful, Shukin's voice rang out over the intercom in the Infinity's cockpit. Just in time, Lin Xian glanced around, immediately realizing the birdman's intentions. His face turned cold. You can fly, right? I'll let you fly. With a whoosh, Lin Xian opened the cockpit door, leaned out, and suddenly raised his hand. A flash of lightning flashed from his palm. Guo, darting across the sky, saw Lin Xian's movements and sneered, trying to catch up to my speed. Puff. A violent arc of electricity shot out instantly, its speed unmatched by that of a bullet. Before Guo could react, it had already struck, instantly piercing his shoulder blade and one of his wings. Countless gray feathers instantly flew through the air, like a wild duck struck by a gun. Holy crap! Electricity! Guo was horrified. How could he outrun the arc of electricity? Suddenly struck by a powerful blow, he lost control of his speed and plummeted toward the distant tracks. With a creaking sound, the Infinity slowly came to a stop, and the convoy behind it followed suit, all armed and ready for battle. Lin Xian scurried out of the car and dashed towards the falling birdman, ready to finish off the enemy. Every enemy killed was a sure kill. Bang, bang, bang. Da, da, da. The rear door of the Infinity's car, number 7, opened, and a light machine gun in the building opened fire on the approaching convoy. Simultaneously, the convoys of Shukin and Sujin in the rear also opened fire. Instantly, a fierce battle erupted. There's another expert. In the Black Crow convoy, Qilong was stunned when he saw Guo shot down midair. He stepped on the accelerator and charged into the zombie swarm, shouting to a nearby underling, "You drive." He asked a fellow in the passenger seat to take over, then opened the driver's door and rushed out, a blood-red mass, brimming with murderous energy and moving at breakneck speed. Like a cannonball, he smashed through several zombies before charging towards Lin Xian. It turned out to be some extremely powerful, enhanced superpower. Wang Mao emerged from the roof again, raised his bazooka, and aimed it at the Infinity. Take this first. Su Jin, in the rear convoy, saw this and shouted into the intercom, "Rocket, watch out!" With a whoosh, a rocket shot out, streaking towards the front of the Infinity. But the next moment, a column of blazing fire shot out, instantly engulfing the rocket and exploding in the air. What? The yellow-haired man was stunned. There's a mutant. Boom. An RV rushed into the street, and then a pillar of fire exploded from the center of the zombie swarm. The flames were raging, and the scorching light was brilliant. A red figure descended from the sky. Lu Xingchen stepped out of the flaming star, his upper body clothes completely consumed by the flames. His hands were blazing as he stood in front of Qilong, a smile on his face. A mutant? I'm a god, fire type. Seeing this unexpected troublemaker, Qilong's expression changed slightly. Looking at the young man with his back to him, he said in a deep voice, "Who are you talking to?" Lu Xingchen looked up at the charred corpses of zombies on the ground in front of him, frowning, and quickly turned around. Unexpectedly, Qilong had already attacked with a punch, and the fist was filled with blood. Puff! Lu Xingchen's face darkened, and he quickly thrust his hands forward, emitting a blazing fire. He shouted, "God's melting fire pillar, you even know a name?" Qilong cursed furiously, his entire body engulfed in flames. He punched the air, his entire body scorched, much of his skin charred black. The intense burning pain contorted his face. As he looked, Lu Xingchen had retreated into the distance, spewing flames. But as his crimson blood flowed through his veins, Qilong's burns were healing at an incredibly rapid rate. Furthermore, as the blood continued to surge, his aura grew fiercer. Lin Xian noticed the massive flames in the distance and realized that the Lone Ranger named Lu Xingchen possessed a fire-based ability. No wonder Shu Qin described him as so powerful, such an ability was the dream of many. With this boost, Lin Xian felt his back suddenly stabilize, and he immediately increased his speed as he charged towards the Birdman. Da-da-da. The convoys from both sides erupted in a hail of gunfire. Qilong, grinning grimly, looked at the fire-type psychic with excitement in his eyes. "I'll take care of this fire-breathing monster. Huang Miao, go help Guo Laoer." Alright, Huang Miao tossed a bazooka to one of his men, then grabbed 2 AKs and scrambled under the car body. He dodged between the vehicles with incredible speed, like a seasoned agent with superhuman physical strength. Sneaking out like a ghost, he swiped his 2 AKs, accurately killing Su Jin and Shu Qin's 2 teammates. Elsewhere, a heavy truck also stopped. The purple-clad woman in the passenger seat pulled out a pistol and pointed it at the fat man, Zhou. "Fatty, aren't you going to show off?" Zhou swallowed nervously. "Of course not. We're in this together. We'll definitely kill them." He then got out of the car, his gun in hand. Seeing the strange-limbed psychic who had once been his subordinate running past him, he immediately shouted. Daong, the psychic known as Daong, glanced back at him, bewildered, then simply ignored him and charged forward. "Damn, traitor," Zhou cursed inwardly. Although he'd been a traitor before, he hated traitors the most. The fights started, and they looked pretty strong. Zhou, hiding in a corner, his eyes flickering. He pretended to fire a gun while searching for a chance to escape. As soon as he encountered the opposing train convoy, he knew they were formidable. The heated battle between the two sides was his perfect opportunity to escape. Zhou was just an ordinary man. He had finally managed to recruit a single-minded psychic as his underling, but before he could boast for a few days, he was once again a mere lackey. Facing the Black Crow's arrogance, he could only seethe with impotence and rage. He knew he had no chance of survival if things continued like this. Better to flee. Just then, as the two convoys were already locked in a fierce battle, Zhou suddenly spotted something valuable. "I'm asking for monthly votes from Minu Book, brothers, let's get on board and go." Chapter 134 Underestimation. On the Infinity, countless bullets continuously bombarded the train's armor, and outside was filled with a howling of corpses. The thugs' convoy broke through the track wall, opening a gap, and many zombies poured in. The two sides began to exchange close-range fire, and the casualties increased. In car number 3, Zhao Yan and Su Wen watched the battle outside and were so scared that they squatted down with their heads in their hands. "Ah! Why did they stop?" Zhao Yan shouted. "Is the road blocked? Why don't you just go?" Su Wen also asked anxiously. Ding Junai, however, continued to sit in front of the computer and work without changing her expression, as if the sounds outside had nothing to do with her. "Director Ding, be careful of bullets," Zhao Yan exclaimed at this time. "The windows of the research vehicle are bulletproof, and the entire vehicle has a P5 protection level. Plus, with the exterior armor, ordinary bullets won't have any effect on us." Ding Junai's hands were clacking away at something on her computer. She said calmly, "Since we can't help in this situation, let's not make any more noise and disturb them." Zhao Yan's screams faded at her words, her face grim. Then, both of them covered their ears, nervously waiting for the fighting outside to subside. Bang, boom, boom. Elsewhere, Lin Xian rushed towards the fallen Guolaoer, firing his machine gun bullets relentlessly. A cloud of snow and dust flew up, and the gray Birdman suddenly darted out. At the same time, a black object was thrown at Lin Xian's feet. He looked down and saw it was a detonated grenade. With a decisive look, Lin Xian quickly formed a long metal clamp, accurately grasped it, and flung it towards the swooping Birdman. Thinking he had perfected his reflexes, Guolaor was quickly fleeing the battlefield when the grenade he'd just thrown flew back towards him. He immediately yelled, "Fuck you. What kind of mechanical arm is that?" Reflexively, he folded his wings mid-air and simultaneously raised his mechanical arms to shield himself. Boom! A massive explosion echoed, and shrapnel instantly pierced his wings, leaving several bloody holes. Guolaor's face was charred black, and he was frantic. Knowing he'd encountered a tough opponent, he quickly flapped his wings, preparing to flee the battlefield first to deal with a few ordinary people behind him. The entire Black Crow group consisted of 3 Esper users, plus the convoy that had absorbed Zhou, a total of 4 Esper users. Plus Huang Mao, a master gunman with his evolved body. They wouldn't even stand a chance against convoys of hundreds of people. Damn it, let's kill a few first. Guolaor steeled his resolve, using his mobility to adjust his angle mid-air. But as he turned, his vision suddenly went black. A massive electrical tower, like a living thing, snapped in half and swept toward him. A whirlwind. A crackling sound. Dozens of cables snapped, and the steel pylon, controlled by an invisible force, slapped across the air. Bang! Guolaor, in mid-flight, was swatted to the ground like a fly, tumbling to the side of the tracks. At the door of the Infinity train, Kiki gently lowered her right hand, her eyes gleaming as she sneered, flying around. "I'll swat you down, you crow, a tough opponent." Guolaor, tumbling to the ground, his wings broken and his body bruised, struggled to his feet. He looked toward the train, where a man and a woman approached. Suddenly, he felt like he was about to die. The exhilarating feeling of soaring through the sky was completely gone. What kind of supernatural powers were these? One was mind control, the other was lightning-related. Guolaor, accustomed to killing those with first-level psychic limbs or flesh-type abilities, was completely stunned. He hadn't expected such a high-level psychic to appear on this train. Filled with fear, he immediately prepared to escape. Let Big Brother take care of this expert. With a thought, a cylindrical device suddenly emerged from Guolaor's prosthetic arm, resembling a miniature bomb. Just as he reached out to grab it, a dark figure swooped in. "Who is it?" Bang, bang, bang. "Guolaor, be careful." Several bullets blazed from behind. It was Guolaor's teammate, Huang Mao. But the figure was no less swift than Huang Mao. In a few flashes, he dashed in front of Guolaor, stomped on the shoulder of Guolaor's prosthetic arm, grabbed his wrist with his backhand, and twisted it. With a loud bang, he expertly detached the entire arm. At the same time, he turned and wielded a large black gun with his other hand, bringing the muzzle down in front of Guolaor. 2 grim muzzles pointed at Guolaor's face, Remington M96s. Guolaor stared at the black muzzles, a chill running down his spine. Damn! Bang! With a resounding bang, Guolaor's head exploded like a watermelon. In just 3 seconds, he charged, stomped on his shoulder, tore off his arm, and spun around to deliver a headshot. The shadowy figure's expression was stern, his movements seamless and effortless. Shuken, Lin Xian and Kiki watched the scene, their expressions changing as well. "Wow, such speed. Is she a psychic?" Kiki exclaimed. Lin Xian shook his head in amazement. "She can't be." He had only ever thought of Shuken and Sujin as strong-willed survivors, but he hadn't expected these ordinary people to possess such formidable unarmed combat prowess. No wonder she was able to acquire blood essence and survive the clutches of the strange entity. It seemed he had underestimated these survivors. He recalled what Ding Junai had told him, even if those who survived the polar night didn't gain superpowers, their physical abilities would evolve and improve due to the darkness, surpassing their original human limits. Shuken, on the other hand, was clearly far superior to ordinary people. No wonder she'd managed to lead a small caravan to this point. It seemed like it wasn't just luck or chance that had helped her. "Fuck you," the yellow-haired man, who had rushed to the rescue, saw his teammate shot in the head, his face suddenly darkening as he lashed out at Shuken with his AK. Shuken dodged, flinging the robotic arm toward Lin Xian, then dashed off at inhuman speed, low to the ground. Meanwhile, bullets from the caravan rained down on the yellow-haired man. Lin Xian's expression brightened, and he immediately raised his hand to take the robotic arm, while simultaneously firing back several rounds of air rifle fire to protect Shuken. The yellow-haired man was caught off guard by Lin Xian's blow, his lower abdomen pierced by a blast of air rifle fire. Terrified, he scurried away, dodging the bullets amidst the swarm of zombies. Lin Xian frowned. The yellow-haired creature's speed was clearly as extraordinary as Shukin's, but he possessed no special abilities. His speed and reflexes alone made him incredibly powerful. Lolo, unleash the zombie tidal wave. The yellow-haired creature shouted into the intercom as he ran. He finally realized that this convoy's combat power had completely exceeded their expectations. However, with a zombie tidal wave as powerful as it was, they definitely had a chance to fight back. Elsewhere, seeing the situation taking a turn for the worse, the purple-haired woman named Luo, hiding in the car, turned grim. Her eyes flashed green, and a surge of raging power emanated from her. The zombies surrounding her convoy and those charging onto the tracks suddenly became frantic, all targeting Shukin and Sujin's convoy. Oh no! They're unleashing the zombie tidal wave, Sujin shouted, and the door on the side of the heavy truck opened, revealing a modified electric Gatling gun. Hold on, damn, the flames from the multi-barreled Gatling gun sprayed at the oncoming zombies. In an instant, the target of the fire from the Black Crow convoy changed to clearing the zombies. At the same time, they had to face the Black Crow convoy's bullets, and the situation suddenly became passive. New book, please vote for it, brothers, get in the car and go. Chapter 135 Bunker. Boom boom boom. Flames blazed across the streets, blazing infernos. Overwhelmed by the zombies, Lu Xingqian and Xu Long fought from the roadside into the shops. Both possessed evolution-level abilities. Lu Xingqian's fire abilities were truly formidable, but Xu Long's strange energy seemed to wield ever-increasing strength, regenerating at an incredibly rapid rate. For a moment, the two were evenly matched. You can still recover, Lu Xingqian's face flashed with shock, and he gritted his teeth. Then I'll burn you to ash. See what you can do, you're talking too much nonsense, bang. Xu Long, like a ghostly shadow, appeared in an instant, launching a punch. Lu Xingqian blocked it with his arms, then backhandedly unleashed a burst of flames behind him. Reverse thrust, what a rubbish name. You have to shout out every move. You've watched too many cartoons, humph. Fire fist, Lu Xingqian seemed completely absorbed in his own world, unfazed by Xu Long's influence. He punched out, unleashing a scorching flame as thick as a bucket. Divine Flame of Annihilation, equals spews fire from both hands. Divine Flame Slash, equals spews fire downwards with one hand. Flame Emperor, equals fires a massive fireball. Xu Long was furious, wanting to kill someone. He'd killed countless ruthless men along the way, but this young man before him had no combat experience, yet his superpowers were terrifyingly powerful. He also had a penchant for childish shouting, which made him furious. Bang, bang, bang. Elsewhere, a yellow-haired man ran toward the convoy and hid behind an SUV. Just then, a psychic with strange, insect-like limbs, bearing bullets, arrived with a group of minions, armed with guns. Come on, Daong. Kill that woman, and I'll grab a beautiful woman to keep you company, the yellow-haired man greeted the approaching person. Hey. Sure, Daong, originally Zhou Lei's man, was one of those people whose brains didn't seem to work very well. Hearing the yellow-haired man's words, he grinned, practically drooling. He pointed at Kiki, who was in the distance, toward the train, his eyes gleaming. I want that, give it to me now. The yellow-haired creature turned and fired, cursing furiously. Alright, kill them, Daong yelled, raising his hardened limbs to shield his face and dashing out, stepping on a wrecked car. Bang! Just then, a resounding gunshot rang out. Daong, perched on the roof, had just leaped onto the car, bracing himself against the hardened shell, when suddenly, his entire upper chest and head exploded, scattering flesh, organs, brain, and broken bones. A thick cloud of blood erupted in a mist. In an instant, only half his body remained, a section of his spine exposed and trembling. This scene stunned a yellow-haired creature and his men hiding under the car. Holy crap! They even have a sniper, the yellow-haired creature exclaimed. Inside carriage number 1 of the Infinity, Chen Sixuan pointed her A-33K heavy anti-material sniper rifle out the window, her face pale, her eyes filled with suppressed rage. For some reason, Chen Sixuan was filled with rage at the sight of the relentless onslaught of thugs and the caravan's allies being slain by zombies and bullets. Her teammates were off fighting for their lives, yet she couldn't do anything. Seeing the sniper rifle, she somehow summoned the courage she needed. She aimed the heavy sniper rifle, scoped it, locked the safety, loaded the gun, aimed, and fired in one smooth motion. It was a perfect hit. Watching Daong's body explode in the scope, she couldn't help but shudder. Only then did she finally realize what she had done. Her lips and teeth were dry, her eyes were wide open, her chest heaving with breaths, and even her fingers trembled slightly. She had completely forgotten how her hand had been so steady when she fired. It was like the small joy she felt when she gently placed a cherry in the center of a cake after baking at home in the afternoon. Lu Shasha, who had run over, watched the scene with her eyes wide open. She covered her mouth and exclaimed, "Sister Chen?" Chen Sixuan's ears rang, and she gradually recovered from the shock of the murder. She turned to look at Shasha. "Did I kill someone? Is he dead?" Shasha stared at the half-body on the car roof in the distance, stunned. "Sister, he's in pieces like that. It's probably going to be hard to save him." Lin Xian and Kiki heard the gunshot and rushed to the car, only to find Chen Sixuan, her face pale, clutching the sniper rifle. "Lin Xian, I just wanted to help," Chen Sixuan said, seemingly explaining why she had fired. Lin Xian was puzzled. "Teacher Chen, when did you learn to use a sniper rifle?" Lin Xian looked at the sniper rifle Chen Sixuan was holding. She was only slightly taller than the 1.6-meter sniper rifle, and Chen Sixuan was usually very careful with things. How could she suddenly pick up a sniper rifle and smash someone's head in? "I learned it from Sasha," Chen Sixuan said nervously. Sasha quickly waved her hand. "I only taught Sister Chen the basics, but I haven't fired a single shot yet." "Wow, Sister Chen has this talent. How cool." Kiki's eyes lit up as he watched Chen Sixuan clutching a sniper rifle, looking quite heroic. "You truly are my goddess." Lin Xian was filled with amazement. This apocalypse was truly fucked up, forcing even a quiet and gentle foreign language teacher to wield a sniper rifle. If Chen Sixuan had this talent, maybe he could build her a set of sniper equipment later. Ugh. Outside, the zombies surged like a sea, quickly filling the tracks. Everyone retreated, fighting and hiding in the car. "What do we do now?" Shu Qian also fled back to the car, pulling out the intercom and saying, "It seems their boss is still entangled with Lu Xingchen. There must be another psychic. Where's the person who can drive the zombie tide?" Lin Xian picked up the intercom and asked the other teams, "Has anyone seen him?" Shu Qian said nothing, immediately ordering the team to launch the drone and begin searching. Surrounded by the zombie tide, everyone was at a disadvantage. If they could kill the culprit, they would immediately get some respite. Hearing Lin Xian's voice, Su Jin shouted to Lao Mo over the intercom, "The person who can control the zombie tide must be hiding in the car. Lao Mo, can you find him? I only saw the yellow-haired guy." "I'll take him first," Lao Mo's voice also came. The specially modified truck was surrounded by zombies, but he remained unfazed. Inside the cab, leather-clad old Mo, scanning with binoculars, pressed the intercom button. "Everyone, pay attention. That yellow-haired guy is hiding behind that green SUV. Yes, there are a lot of people hiding there, firing their weapons." "What do you think?" the other members of the team responded. "They have cover, too many zombies. This is really troublesome. How about we just shoot them a few times?" The atmosphere in Old Mo's team was lively, with everyone talking at once, but soon reaching a consensus. "That makes sense." Old Mo thought the plan was a good one and pressed a button. Then, several black launch ports slowly rose from the truck's roof, seemingly loaded with missiles. He quickly put on a pair of reading glasses and carefully set the parameters on the screen. "Then let's take them and the cover away." With that, he pressed the launch button. Elsewhere, hiding behind a car, a yellow-haired man clutched his abdominal wound as he watched the zombies swarm away with a group of thugs. He finally breathed a sigh of relief. "Damn it. Guolao is dead, and so is the brain-dead Daong. We've suffered a huge loss today. If we don't get this..." He hadn't finished his words when a nearby thug suddenly tapped him on the shoulder. "What?" The thug remained silent, pointing in a direction with a look of horror. Huang Mao looked in that direction with an unhappy expression, and soon saw some kind of black launcher rising from the roof of a giant truck in the distance. "What the hell is that?" Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In an instant, 3 missiles flew out of the launcher, their tails swerving rapidly in the air before hurtling towards Huang Mao's hiding place. Huang Mao froze for a moment, his expression turning strange as he muttered, "Fuck, boom. Please vote for my new book. Brothers, get in the car, go." If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 136 Sneak Attack. A resounding explosion echoed in the street beyond the tracks. The commotion startled everyone. They saw the several oncoming Black Crow convoys' SUVs shattered into pieces, flames erupting and black smoke billowing. Wang Mao and his men were instantly annihilated, fragments of their coats falling in the wind. Meanwhile, Luo, the purple-haired woman in the passenger seat of the heavy truck, finally sensed the danger after watching Guo Lao, Wang Mao, and Dayang fall so many times. Her face paled, and she searched for Chu Long's direction. The entire convoy was in disarray. Chu Long was the strongest of the four, with exceptional resilience. As long as he was there, the convoy would remain stable. Elsewhere, Lin Xian watched as more and more zombies poured in from the city streets, and a thick fog rose around them. His expression grew grim. "Little girl, Sasha, cover me as I rush out." That psychic can't be far away. This power to control zombies was truly terrifying. That night, the zombie horde nearly overturned the train. Lin Xian didn't hesitate, immediately grabbing his rifle and electric knife and rushing out. Buzz! A telekinetic wave sent dozens of zombies blocking the train flying, clearing the path for Lin Xian. Sasha followed Kiki out of the train, swung her grenade launcher in a circle, and fired. Boom! 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 The howitzer exploded continuously among the zombies. Simultaneously, Su Jin's convoy's massive firepower raged wildly, sending the incoming zombies falling in droves. Lin Xian fired continuously from his machine gun, electric knife in his right hand, charging in, his eyes constantly scanning the direction of the Black Crow convoy. Da-da-da. A burst of bullets rang out through the mist. Lin Xian dodged through the trackside fence, then dove back into the traffic, beheading two thugs who were shooting at a train. A drone flew past Lin Xian, and Kiki's voice rang out over his intercom. "Lin Xian, at 2 o'clock in your direction, there's a black truck with a woman in the passenger seat. Behind him." Kiki zoomed in on the drone while operating her mobile device. She quickly spotted a strange woman in the passenger seat, her eyes flashing green, a sure sign of some supernatural power. Lin Xian, upon hearing Kiki's words, immediately unleashed a barrage of bullets towards the truck's cockpit. Bang bang bang. The bullets had no effect on the truck, even the glass was bulletproof, but the purple-haired woman caught sight of him. Seeing the panicked expression on her face through the window, Lin Xian knew he had found the right person. Woo! Electricity surged in his palms, and he was about to strike, when suddenly, to Lin Xian's left, a burst of flames erupted. Boom! A blazing flame shot up into the sky, and a crimson-skinned man swiftly broke free from the flames and rushed towards Lin Xian at breakneck speed. It was Chu Long. Chu Long attacked from the side and rear, his fist whistling directly into Lin Xian's face. Lu Xingchen hadn't anticipated Chu Long's sudden attack on another man, and was about to warn him, but it was too late. Unexpectedly, just as the fist approached Lin Xian had sensed it and, with a flick of his left hand, instantly formed a large metal shield. Boom! Chu Long's sudden punch, seemingly destined for a hit, struck Lin Xian, who hadn't even turned his head, but instead, it slammed directly into a thick iron plate. The immense force penetrated, denting it, but leaving Lin Xian unharmed. Chu Long's gaze shone. Where did this iron come from? Did this man have electrical powers? Puff! Just as this thought flashed through his mind, a blinding arc of electricity suddenly struck him. The arc flashed, instantly burning a hole in Chu Long's face, piercing through the side and back of his head. Without a single splash of blood, Lin Xian had already sidestepped and kicked, slamming Chu Long into the steel shield and sending him flying. Boom! Chu Long was kicked out, and before he even hit the ground, a column of fire erupted and engulfed him. Be careful, this guy has strong vitality, Lu Xingchen's voice came from behind. As expected, Chu Long, whose sneak attack had failed and was instead severely injured, burst out of the flames, his entire body charred. However, he didn't rush towards Lin Xian and Lu Xingchen. Instead, he turned and rushed towards Infinite Sasha and Kiki. Oh no! He's trying to take your train hostage. Seeing Chu Long charging towards the two girls, Sasha and Kiki, Lu Xingchen's face darkened and he gritted his teeth in anger. This cunning guy couldn't be defeated head-on, so he resorted to underhanded tactics. He hated people who resorted to underhanded tactics the most. Instantly enraged, he stepped on fire and leaped out. "I'm here, how dare you?" Lin Xian, however, looked peculiar at this scene. This guy was so fucking naive. And that Long was even more of an idiot. He had no choice but to run towards the girls when there were so many other directions to go. Long's eyes were bloodshot. The team had been badly defeated, and he knew he was in dire straits. A sneak attack on Lin Xian had failed, and he couldn't defeat the guy who had used the fire. In his desperation, he happened to see Sasha and Kiki by the track. These two girls looked like they might be Lin Xian's important teammates or family members. Lin Xian was the leader of the train, and even Su Jin and Shukin's team were following behind. He thought that if he succeeded, he might be able to turn the tide in an instant. Meanwhile, Sasha's face paled as she watched a blood-red figure charging towards them. She retreated in panic, unexpectedly bumping into Kiki's arms behind her. "Brother," Sasha screamed. "It's no use calling anyone." Long's face was horrified, his blood energy turning a maroon red, clearly reaching its limit. With a single leap, he leaped out of the zombies, exerting all his strength to counterattack. But who would have thought that once he leaped, he never came back down? Suddenly, he was frozen in midair. Long looked up to see the girl before him with a cold gaze, her long hair flowing effortlessly, her eyes glowing with light. A terrifying control gripped him completely. Brother, he couldn't understand why a little girl would call him brother when the one wielding the supernatural power was clearly a girl. The next moment, before Long could react, a massive black figure suddenly charged forward, steel-slicing sword raised. Long's eyes trembled, and his heart sank. "So, I'm here." Seeing Sasha and Kiki being attacked, a man in the building charged forward with a murderous look on his face. With a roar, he raised his sword and slashed. Puff! Long was instantly severed in half. Kiki waved his hand nonchalantly, throwing him into the zombie swarm. The countless zombies, sensing the strong scent of blood, suddenly pounced frantically, tearing at Long's body. Lin Xian couldn't help but frown at the scene. It was tragic. "Be careful, he's very resilient." At that moment, a flash of fire descended. Lu Xingjian, making a dashing appearance, unleashed a torrent of flames, scorching a swarm of zombies. He warned Kiki and Sasha again, but after the zombies were blasted away and burned, they approached and saw that Long had been gnawed to pieces, dead beyond all possibility of death. Even after this, how can he recover? Kiki replied with a frown. Sasha's face was filled with disgust. "Hey, she's already turned into a zombie poop. How can she possibly recover?" Lu Xingjian was stunned. He hadn't expected the girl in front of him to be so powerful. He hadn't gotten the limelight at all, and the atmosphere suddenly became awkward. "Brother, what's wrong with you?" At this moment, Sasha looked at the building next to him. The veins on the building's face began to redden, as if affected by Long's blood energy. "It's okay." The building frowned and waved his hands repeatedly. He didn't know what had happened, but after killing Long, the blood energy rushed over, causing his flesh and blood to begin to stir. "Amazing, awesome." Lu Xingjian looked at Kiki. Witnessing the other's invisible telekinesis, he was immediately astonished. With longing, he said, "This is the first time I've seen a telekinetic psychic. Before, all I wanted was the ability to teleport, but," he said with a wistful smile, taking a deep breath, and muttering to himself in front of Kiki and Sasha, "It's time and fate. Now, I've been summoned by the god of fire. In these apocalyptic times, I've vowed to use this divine fire to burn away all the strangeness in the world. If I, Lu Xingjian, hadn't been born, the polar night would have been dark forever." Lu Xingjian snapped his fingers, and a flame ignited at his fingertips. "Alice, there's nothing I can do. With great power comes great responsibility. I bet you feel the same way." Kiki watched the man muttering to himself, his brow furrowing deeper and deeper. He looked quite serious, but why was his demeanor so strange? Could it be that he had some intellectual issues? "Hey, big brother," Sasha's voice interrupted Lu Xingjian's self-revelation. Boom. "What's going on?" Lu Xingjian raised his hand and spurted fire, sending the zombies behind him flying. His every move was composed and unfazed. "That," Sasha pointed in the direction of the street in the distance, "that RV, is it yours?" "Huh? RV? What RV? You knew I have an RV?" The familiar words reached Lu Xingjian's ears, and he immediately turned around, only to see that the high-end RV speeding away was none other than the Vulcan, the car he had painstakingly built. "Holy shit! My car, my car! Who the hell drove my car away? Please vote for my new book. I'll add more chapters as soon as I reach 3,000 votes, and there will be more chapters in the middle of the month. Thank you all for your support. Star Trek Train, go, go. Chapter 137 Jellyfish Swarm. Lin Xian was stunned. How could someone drive away his RV in the chaos? Buzz buzz buzz. Across the street, upon seeing Chu long dead, the other thugs scattered. Some jumped into their cars and plunged into the swarm of corpses, while others headed straight for the trucks. Da da da. The tide turned. Sujin and Shukin's bullets mercilessly mowed down the fleeing remnants. The purple-haired woman in the heavy truck saw this, knowing disaster was imminent. She quickly climbed into the driver's seat, locked the door, and panickedly prepared to drive away. Lin Xian, who was closest, noticed the woman was about to flee and immediately charged up his battery, ready to deal with any further danger. Suddenly, Lao Mo's voice rang out over the intercom, "Captain Lin, retreat." Huh? Lin Xian was puzzled. Turning around, he saw the launcher above the Tilly convoy light up again. His face suddenly changed, and without a word, he ran off. Whoosh whoosh. 2 missiles instantly flew out of the launcher, heading for the truck. Ah! No! Feeling death approach, the purple-haired woman's pupils dilated, her face pale. Boom! The missile hit the front of the truck, sending a massive shockwave that shook even Lin Xian. He collapsed to the ground, covered in dust. The truck's cab was completely blown apart, leaving the purple-haired woman completely limp. That's brutal. A heavy truck is definitely the real deal. Having dealt with the scourge, Lin Xian finally breathed a sigh of relief. Zombies were attacking from all sides, and he was about to retreat when he saw Lin Xian rushing towards him. What are you doing? Lin Xian stopped him. My car. My car. Lin Xian's face was green. Not only had his car been driven away, but his clothes had also been burned. A cold wind blew, and he shivered with cold. Lin Xian turned and saw that the RV had already circled several blocks and vanished from sight. At this point, unless he could fly, catching up was impossible. And judging by the previous battle, he didn't possess such a skill. In the Vulcan RV, a chubby man, his face horrified, gritted his teeth as he frantically stomped on the accelerator, charging through the zombie horde. He glanced in the rearview mirror, noticing a large supply of supplies, and his heart instantly relaxed. Fortunately, he ran fast. He hadn't expected such a ruthless group like the Black Crows to be wiped out by that train convoy. As expected, once we get to Ubri City, every one of them is a real tough nut to crack. Fortunately, I ran fast. Jolie drove furiously. The fog ahead gradually cleared, and a thick mist rose into the sky. He planned to find a way out of the city, or wait until the group left before entering the airport. In short, he had to stay away. Now that he had a modified RV, he had a chance to make a comeback. At least his life was saved. Jolie marveled at his many miraculous escapes, truly due to his keen eye for timing. Even he felt a sense of self-admiration at the thought. Just as he breathed a sigh of relief, the light in the cab suddenly dimmed. He looked up, but saw nothing but zombies ahead. Puzzled, he slowly raised his head. Suddenly, his pupils narrowed, and his expression changed dramatically. Above the clouds, a terrifying giant slowly approached him. Ah! Screams echoed from the RV. Elsewhere, Lin Xian and his group, having successfully eliminated the Black Crows, hurried back to their car. Shukin's cry echoed over the intercom. Let's go. There's something in the sky. A giant jellyfish slowly emerged from the sky, its terrifying form causing everyone in the team to gasp. The difference was that this jellyfish was indeed smaller than the one Lin Xian and his group had seen that day at Dalao Mountain. Even so, its terrifying size, larger than a building, still made everyone gasp. Lin Xian immediately urged the train to move. Hurry, everyone, get on board and get ready. A massive horde of zombies poured in. There was no chance to gather loot. The Infinity started up immediately, charging through the horde. The convoy behind also started up, following the Infinity. It's getting dark, everyone be careful, Sujin's voice rang out. Look, there's one over there, Kiki said. To the left of the train, in the distance, a giant jellyfish appeared in the city. Oh my god, so many. So scary. Meanwhile, the survivors in the convoy behind, including Sujin, Shukin, and Lao Mo's convoy, were terrified. All the vehicles locked their doors and windows. Mothers hiding in trucks and buses covered their children's cries of fear, feeling a terrifying, Oppressive feeling. Buzz. Countless wheels rolled, breaking through the swarm of zombies and following the Infinity forward. The battle had damaged the barbed wire fence, allowing a swarm of zombies to stream onto the tracks and follow the convoy. Inside carriage number 1 of the Infinity, a shirtless young man sat in a corner, his face full of doubt. He was shirtless, his eyes dull. It was Lin Xian. Since fleeing east, this was the first time he had suffered such a huge loss. His home had been robbed, and any normal person would have been stunned. "Brother Lin, should we take him with us?" Sasha came over and asked quietly in the cockpit. Lin Xian looked back and said, "Let's help him first. His car was stolen and he has nowhere else to go. Sasha, find him some clothes first." At this moment, Lin Xian had completely lost the comfort he had at the freight terminal, drinking tea under an umbrella. Lin Xian even felt that the light in his eyes had disappeared. This guy was really a bit miserable. Although his personality was a bit eccentric and he looked a bit childish, he was still a teammate who fought alongside the team. Since he was one of them, Lin Xian didn't mind helping him. Lin Xian gazed at the giant in the sky, picked up the intercom, and said warily, "Everyone, don't fire at these jellyfish yet, to avoid a chain reaction. Those things must have spotted us," Shukin said. "Go ahead, everyone, keep up. Don't fall behind." The train began to accelerate, and the convoy behind it revved up to catch up. Due to the poor track surface, some of the lower-floored cars had great difficulty maneuvering, occasionally bumping against the tracks, sending sparks flying. A buzz. A whistle like a cruise ship's whistle rang out from the sky. The fleeing crowd looked up and saw a giant sky jellyfish approaching the convoy. As it drew closer, Lin Xian and Chen Sixuan could even make out its tentacles swaying in the air. "It's coming," Chen Sixuan exclaimed in horror. Lin Xian took a deep breath and picked up the intercom. "Everyone, prepare to fire. Don't get caught by those tentacles." At Dalao Mountain, the train's armor had been completely deformed by a mere glide of tentacles, leaving even the most ruthless of the nocturnal attackers completely undone. The jellyfish's tentacles certainly wouldn't touch them. Now, the convoy had already entered the city and could see the airport in the distance. At this point, they had no choice but to sprint for their lives. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Hearing Lin Xian's words, the rearmost daily convoy launched 3 missiles at the jellyfish, hitting its core tentacle. Boom, boom. 2 flashes of fire blazed. High in the sky, the jellyfish's enormous, transparent umbrella could be seen violently swirling several times. Several giant tentacles broke off and fell from the sky, accompanied by a large amount of gray, transparent material. Plop. Some of the giant tentacles crashed onto rooftops, others landed among the corpses on the street. A terrifying sizzling sound echoed, and a large amount of white mist rose up. Those tentacles seemed to be highly toxic. Please vote for my new book monthly. I will update more as soon as I get 3,000 votes, and will also update more in the middle of the month. Thank you all for your support. Let's go, Star Trek Train. Chapter 138, Burnt Squid. Buzz. The sky jellyfish let out a deep, intense roar, its transparent umbrella swirling, shattering the glass on the tall buildings. The resounding roar numbed everyone in the convoy, leaving many feeling a sense of oppression, as if they were being overwhelmed by the giant. Run. Don't slow down. Watch out for the pylons. Don't get out of line. Everyone else, shoot that beast, Sujin shouted, and the Gatling guns on the trucks aimed at the sky. Beep. Bullets rained down, and countless armed members of the convoy opened their windows and fired at the giant in the sky. Da 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 da, it's coming. The train and convoy had already reached the elevated highway. On the Infinity, Sasha shouted from car 7 into the intercom. The sky seemed to be obscured by a massive shadow. The enormous sky jellyfish headed directly for the convoy, its countless tentacles sweeping across the tracks. Bang! An SUV was unfortunately swept away, knocking over the track wall and crashing into the street below the overpass. The car overturned, crushing dozens of zombies along with it. A surviving woman in the back seat of the SUV opened the window and cried out, trying to escape. The next moment, a dense swarm of zombies overwhelmed the SUV. The hand raised to the air for help quickly fell amidst screams. Encore! Zaya Aoi, Shukin roared into the walkie-talkie, her eyes red as she gritted her teeth and slammed the accelerator. You bastards, pay attention, boom, boom, crash. As the sky jellyfish passed over the convoy, countless bullets bombarded it, shattering many of its tentacles and tissues. Immediately, A cloud of gray-white tissue fragments and liquid fell from the sky like rain. Chi. Many vehicles were damaged, and those who couldn't dodge were splashed with debris on their arms and bodies, which immediately began to rot and burn. Screams echoed through the convoy, nearly disintegrating the entire team. At 6:45 p.m., just as everyone was in dire straits, darkness fell. The convoy, already mired in thick fog, was plunged even deeper into darkness. All the cars turned on their headlights, illuminating the path ahead. Lin Xian, there's another one up ahead, Kiki's voice boomed over the intercom. Lin Xian looked up from the cockpit to see a larger one slowly emerging from above a building. If we go on like this, we're doomed. Lin Xian's face was solemn at this moment, as if facing a great enemy. Kiki, call that fire-breathing guy to come with you. Oh, Kiki rushed to the cockpit immediately after hearing Lin Xian's words, while Lu Xingchen was still huddled in the corner with dull eyes, muttering my car, with a look of regret on his face. Why are you still squatting here? Come with me to help when disaster strikes. Lu Xingchen looked up at her. Do you know how important that car is to me? It's my partner, my home, and my hope for the journey. Kiki's face darkened when she heard that. She resisted the urge to curse and said to him angrily, what nonsense are you talking about? Come with me to kill that jellyfish. Then let Lin Xian give you a carriage specially decorated as your boudoir. Are you satisfied? Unexpectedly, after hearing this, Lu Xingchen suddenly stood up, straightened his chest, his face full of calmness and determination. Let's go now. Without further ado, he looked completely different from the plaintive look just now, and even Kiki was stunned. Come on. It's time to show that evil creature my fire god's power. Kiki rolled her eyes, completely unable to tolerate this guy's self-performance. Before he could finish, she snapped her fingers, grabbed his ear with telekinesis, and pulled him towards the cockpit. Lin Xian, I've got the people. Kiki eagerly led Lu Xingchen into the cockpit. Lin Xian glanced back at Lu Xingchen and immediately asked, can you still move? Lu Xingchen was a little exasperated and was about to say something when he looked up through Lin Xian and saw the giant jellyfish in the distant sky. His expression suddenly turned serious and he nodded at Lin Xian. Okay then. Lin Xian immediately said, girl, throw all the gasoline we've stored in the back compartment at me. Lu, you two, work together. I'm going to burn the squid. It's a jellyfish. Okay. Kiki immediately understood Lin Xian's intention and, before Lu Xingchen could complain, she turned and rushed to the back compartment. Whoosh! Lin Xian opened the cockpit door and, with a clang, a steel staircase appeared, allowing Lu Xingchen to walk directly from the compartment to the roof. Lu Xingchen watched in amazement at Lin Xian's skillful manipulation and uncanny ability, his face changing slightly. Without further ado, he rolled up his sleeves and climbed onto the roof. Elsewhere, Lin Xian had expected Kiki to use telekinesis to bring over a dozen barrels of gasoline. Instead, he saw them flying through the air, while Kiki excitedly stepped on them, occasionally levitating. This girl, she really could fly. Telekinesis had such immense potential. Lin Xian had already suspected flight. After all, she could lift a train weighing hundreds of tons, so why couldn't she move her own few dozen pounds? It was simply a matter of proficiency. Atop the high-speed Infinity, Lu Xingchen stood on the roof, while Kiki floated up from the side, landing on the roof with a slightly nervous expression. It was her first flight, and she was inevitably a little excited. But now, seeing the massive threat in the sky, she didn't have time to jump for joy. She quickly waved her arms, hoisting the dozen or so barrels of gasoline into the air. I'll throw them up, and you'll spit fire to ignite them. The more intense the fire, the better, Kiki said softly and crisply. No need to remind me, burning is an art. Lu Xingchen's expression was stern, and he twirled his fingers in a warm-up exercise. In the cockpit, Lin Xian picked up the intercom and said, Lao Mo, I'll ignite the jellyfish. You'll fire a few missiles later. Everyone else, hold your guns. Keep your windows closed. Watch out for fire. Hearing Lin Xian's crazy plan, Shuqin and Su Jin were shocked and quickly responded, Understood, everyone, take precautions. Meanwhile, Lao Mo's voice was filled with excitement. Good boy, you're really good at burning the squid with fire. He clicked a few buttons on the control panel. Okay, if that's the case, then fire everything you have. It's life or death. Clang. Clang. The train drew closer. The giant jellyfish above the sky let out a loud, dull roar, as if it had spotted prey. Its transparent rim swirled, rapidly drifting toward the train. Now, Lin Xian shouted from the roof. Hearing Lin Xian's command, Kiki concentrated and held her breath, her eyes flashing with supernatural energy. She grasped the air with both hands, gathering more than a dozen oil barrels toward her center. Then, with all her might, she launched them toward the jellyfish. Buzz! The barrels roared through the air, carrying immense kinetic energy. Elsewhere, Lin Xian stood atop the train, stomping his feet hard, gritting his teeth, and erupting from his hands. A torrent of flames gradually formed in front of him. Instantly, waves of flames erupted, and the blazing light illuminated the entire street. God, Flame Emperor, his pupils trembled, and as if exerting all his energy, he thrust a massive fireball skyward. Buzz! The massive fireball continued to rise, illuminating the windows of the high-rise buildings before colliding with the oil drums flung toward the center of the jellyfish. Boom! Instantly, a massive, searing ball of flame exploded, blazing like a blaze. The ignited gasoline from the explosion shot out, further intensifying the flames. A massive fireball erupted in the sky, threatening to rip through the very fabric of the sky, instantly engulfing half of the massive jellyfish. The fire burned. The shockwave from the explosion echoed, and the convoy racing below felt their cars jolt and a wave of heat wash over them. Please vote for my new book. Once you reach 3,000 votes, I'll add more chapters, and there'll be more chapters mid-month. Thank you all for your support. Star Trek Train, go. Chapter 139 Airport Number 1. Boom. A massive fire erupted in the sky, illuminating several nearby streets. The sky jellyfish let out a shrill wail, half engulfed by the massive fireball. Its canopy and tentacles were stained with burning gasoline. The raging flames continued to burn, emitting billowing black smoke. As if in immense pain, its transparent canopy swirled wildly, crashing directly into a nearby building. Bang! Crash! Instantly, a shower of fireballs, jellyfish tissue, and shattered building glass rained down from the sky. Get in, Kiki shouted. Reacting with incredible speed, she used her telekinesis to grab Lin Xian and scramble through the cockpit door. Lin Xian then removed the steel stairs and closed the cockpit door. The fire is falling, go, boom, 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 boom. Countless fireballs and burning gasoline rained down, instantly engulfing the tracks and city streets in raging flames. Flames continuously fell on the moving vehicles in the convoy, sending sparks flying. Car roofs burst into flames, and a shower of shattered glass rained down. The blaze in the streets ignited the zombies, creating a sea of inferno. Be careful, don't fall behind, don't crash, fire extinguisher, fire extinguisher. The intercom was filled with panic. Finally, with a thrilling sprint, the Infinity and the entire convoy finally broke through the inferno. Many of the burning vehicles' windows opened, and survivors, armed with fire extinguishers, began to rescue themselves. Did we kill one? Shuken looked in the rearview mirror at the giant jellyfish flaming and plummeting, her face filled with disbelief. Even the undead were half-roasted. Sujin looked at the satisfaction of surviving a disaster, and shouted, "It's unbelievable, there are several of these huge things." Lao, who was driving seriously at the back of the convoy, also breathed a sigh of relief at this time. He said to the intercom channel in the car, "Is anyone injured?" "No, Grandpa Mo, everyone is fine." Zio Li was scared to tears. "So cowardly, are we out of danger? How long will it take to get to the airport?" "It's almost there." Lao Mo looked at the huge building outlines and lights slowly emerging from the black fog in front of him, and then looked at the Infinity train in front of the convoy, and clicked his tongue and said, "It's a good thing we follow this Infinity, otherwise, so many people would probably be finished." Whether it was the Black Crow 4 or the Sky Jellyfish, they were under devastating pressure for Sujin, Shukin and Lao Mo's convoy. Although there was also a Lin Xian, in this situation, without Lin Xian's Infinity to break through the layers of obstacles, it would be difficult for them to survive. On the Infinity, crises unfolded one after another. Inside carriage number 3, Ding Junai watched the raging fire recede out the window, her gaze calm. Then, looking ahead of the train, a massive structure stretched into the horizon. Yubi Airport Sky Train Line 1, climbing tunnel. Clang, clang. A heavy train, carrying a convoy of vehicles, rolled across the track bridge leading to the airport. The surrounding city streets were pitch black, but countless lights flickered on the airport platform. Under the overhead searchlights, the vast climbing tunnel stretched like a pillar, reaching high above the sky. like a giant aerial tube high above the Earth's surface. It housed a negative pressure electromagnetic acceleration track and a traffic tunnel, capable of simultaneously accommodating 10 intercontinental trains and tens of thousands of vehicles towed by tractors. As the Infinity approached, the rapidly accelerating climbing elevator could be seen, illuminated by the lights, soaring into the sky. Such a magnificent sight, a feat worthy of a human engineering epic. Wow, that's amazing. Inside the cockpit, Sasha and Dalu stared in amazement at the massive climbing elevator, their faces filled with wonder. Even though I've ridden it before, I'm still blown away every time I see it. Chen Sixuan's eyes sparkled. After all this escape, they had finally reached the main track of the Circumstellar Orbit, meaning that she and Lin Xian had reached their destination alive. What a shame. If my car were still there, it could have gone up there with me. Lin Xian felt a wave of resentment as he thought of his RV. It's okay, it must be up there by now, Kiki muttered. Eh, what do you mean, ta-da? Footsteps sounded behind him, and Lin Xian turned to see Ding Junai approaching quickly, followed by the nervous Zhao Yan and Su Wen. You're lucky. The airport is still standing, Lin Xian said. This was good news for everyone. Looking out, the airport base was densely packed with at least several thousand vehicles, surviving from all over Xianhe province. That's great, Zhao Yan breathed a sigh of relief with a look of joy on her face. Thank you, Mr. Lin. It's all thanks to you, otherwise we would have died. Yes, thank you very much, Su Wen said. Ding Junai glanced at Lin Xian, then swept her eyes towards the airport in the distance. The close-in weapon system and air defense system in the base are still functioning. It seems that the Phoenix Society's emergency response team and engineers are in place. The defense has not fallen, which means that there are still armed forces. It should be the Airport Guard Regiment or the 52nd Iron Guard Brigade, Chen Sixuan said. I heard on the radio before that the 52nd Iron Guard Brigade retreated to Airport Number 1 for preparations. They should also be preparing to evacuate from here. This is all good news, Lin Xian nodded. After running for so long, we finally saw a large force. In the face of doomsday, no one wants to fight alone. Who would want to hide when they can find the protection of an official large force? The airport was now clogged with a dense swarm of evacuation vehicles, maintaining a delicate balance and order. Having just fought a fierce battle with the rioters' convoy, seeing so many convoys so peaceful and tranquil actually made Lin Xian feel a bit dazed. This kind of orderly scene was truly rare. No one should dare to cause trouble here, Chen Sixuan said, scanning the area. Kiki said, not necessarily, but with so many people, including the Guards Regiment and the Iron Guard Brigade, even if they had any intentions, they'd have to think twice. How dare you act rashly in this place? You don't want to live, Lin Xian folded his arms and said disdainfully, those who come here want to survive. No matter how arrogant, I don't think they dare to cause trouble here. Behind them, Shuken, Su Jin, and Lao Mo's convoy watched the train approach the vast airport base, their expressions a complex mix. There was anticipation, exhaustion, realization, and nervousness. Everyone knew that as long as they could cross the snowy plateau via the high-altitude corridor, they would have enough breathing space. Lin Xian, look, Chen Sixuan suddenly called out to Lin Xian from the Infinity. Everyone followed their gaze and was stunned to discover that, on the platform just ahead, which was reserved for trains, were three massive trains. One was the Intercontinental-class military transport train belonging to the Iron Guard Brigade that Chen Sixuan and Shasha had seen earlier, but the other two were even more impressive. Like the Infinity, they were doomsday trains poised to enter interstellar orbit. Thank you all for your 3,000 monthly votes. I'll be adding more chapters today, and more tomorrow, the 15th, mid-month. I'm begging for your mid-month votes tomorrow. Every 1,000 votes will result in a new chapter. Chapter 140 Pit Stop. Compared to the Infinity's mere 9 carriages, the two doomsday trains could be described as rail behemoths. The first was comprised almost entirely of double-decker carriages, spanning 50 or 60 and stretching over a kilometer in length. It was propelled by an Intercontinental-class nuclear-powered locomotive, 6 of which were painted in various colors and clad in welded steel armor. Docked on the airport tracks, its rows of illuminated carriages resembled a rolling, 2-story city. The other train, even Lin Xian, was awe-inspiring. It was a Silver Eternity-class train, resembling a giant silver dragon, traversing the airport platform. Its uniform paint and colors, with over 100 carriages and 4 electromagnetic railguns in the front, back, and center, gave it a truly sci-fi look. Lin Xian knew without a second thought that this was the Silver Star, the doomsday train from the Yangchang Finger group that old Mo had mentioned, a behemoth with a population exceeding 3,000. The other double-decker steel contraption was likely the Longshan No. 1 from Longshan City. Wow, what a long train. Shasha slumped over the driver's seat, her eyes wide. Chen Sixuan looked at Lin Xian and said with emotion, "You're right. We're not the only ones fleeing to the interstellar orbit and using rail trains as transportation, that's for sure." Lin Xian nodded, his expression calm. "This world's rail system is well developed. There will always be people who survive this way." Clang, clang. Under the darkness, the Infinity slowly approached the airport. The track gradually widened, with several huge double-track bridges stretching on both sides. As the Infinity and the convoy approached, a large number of searchlights from the airport began to shine towards the train. Da-da-da. A burst of gunfire and flames echoed at the edge of the airport. Under the searchlights, countless zombies beneath the rail bridges continued to surge towards the airport's high walls. The zombies continued to climb up, and the automatic machine gun turrets on the walls continuously sprayed fire to mow down the zombies. There are more and more zombies. I don't think the airport can hold out for much longer. The zombie hordes were now accompanied by some strange giant insects and tall, strange figures, which constantly bombarded the defensive walls. It looks like we won't be able to hold out until tomorrow. The airport will be completely closed, Lin Xian said. Beep, beep. The answering machine rang, a call from the airport. KH 5580, this is Airport Control Tower. Please slow down immediately and report your identity. KH 5580 was the former service number of the old giant Whale 03E heavy gas turbine locomotive. Hearing the call, Lin Xian immediately answered. Airport Control Tower, this is Infinity. We have over 200 survivors trying to pass through the high-altitude passage. Beep. Infinity, please stop immediately for inspection. More inspection, Chen Sixuan frowned. They're not going to get on board, are they? Just when Lin Xian felt like he might be in trouble, the airport control center's voice suddenly rang out over the transponder. KH 5580 Infinity, cleared to enter the airport via Gate D. Please wait for the elevator to clear, Kiki asked in confusion. What's going on? They just said they were going to inspect us. Why aren't they suddenly doing it anymore? Maybe we're surrounded by zombies now, and there's no one to check us. Shasha said. I don't know. Let's get in first. Roger that. Lin Xian pressed the transponder, restarted the train, and began to drive towards the massive airport ahead. A heavy gate slowly opened, revealing dozens of heavily armed Iron Guard Brigade soldiers. These men were armed with heavy weapons, equipped with active exoskeleton systems and night vision goggles, and they watched the incoming heavy train with vigilance. A man who resembled an officer stepped forward to take a look, then glanced at the large convoy behind him. He asked Lin Xian, are there any injured on board? We can provide medical support, there are quite a few, Lin Xian replied directly. Shuqin and Sujin's convoy had suffered some casualties during their escape from the sky jellyfish. Pull over to the rail platform. I'll arrange for a medical team. Lin Xian, Chen Sixuan, and the others were stunned. After all their time on the run, this was the first time they had encountered anyone actively helping the survivors. There are casualties on Platform D. Requesting a medical team, the officer whispered, pressing the intercom button to his ear. He then gestured to Lin Xian, signaling them to enter. Beep. Da-da-da. On the other two platforms, close-in weapon systems continuously searched for approaching targets, occasionally firing in a certain direction within the city. Tracer bullets streaked across the night sky like meteors. At the gate, 12 automatic aiming machine guns locked onto every heat source on the vehicles as the convoy entered. Soldiers from the Iron Guard Brigade, armed with their rifles, searched for suspicious targets. The atmosphere became extremely tense. Behind them, the convoys of Shuqin, Lao, and Sujin all tensed as they followed the Infinity onto the airport platform. Spotlights fell on the incoming train, instantly drawing countless glances. This is the first time I've seen so many people in all this time on the run, Sujin said over the intercom. Too many people isn't a good thing. Don't you see the monsters outside going crazy? If the defense line falls, this place will become a buffet for them. Shuqin's tone was pessimistic. Oh, it's been a while since I last came here. It's so different, Lao Mo's voice came, but it seems that only one of the climbing elevators is usable. The Silver Star arrived a few hours ago, so why hasn't it entered the ascent sequence yet? Inside the infinity, Lin Xian looked up at the climbing passage extending high into the sky and said in a deep voice, "These trains, including us, can be towed up using the Horizon Gateway, but it seems that the airport tower doesn't seem to have any intention of opening other passages. They should be worried about chaos and falling," Chen Sixuan said nervously. "The airport doesn't have enough manpower and maintenance equipment. In addition, these trains and survivor vehicles have undergone various modifications. If there is no safety traction device, it may cause sliding tracks or more serious elevator falls. In that case, the climbing passage will be completely destroyed." Lin Xian nodded. Chen Sixuan's words made perfect sense. Decades ago, climbing channel trains were propelled upwards by a combination of Horizon Gateway traction and electromagnetic acceleration. The turbines of the Whale 03E heavy-duty gas turbine locomotive were specifically designed for this purpose. However, after decades of improvements and upgrades, brute force ascent was gradually replaced by elevators, enabling efficient and orderly passage. This Iron Guard brigade seems to have suffered heavy losses. Chen Sixuan observed the soldiers defending the area, as if they had endured days and nights of battle. Their bodies were covered in blood, and even their uniforms bore scorch marks. At least one regiment-level weapon or higher was lost on that battlefield in the valley, and the personnel losses are likely substantial as well. Kiki's expression was also grave. "Even the army is struggling to resist. Now we can only flee and seek a chance to survive." Clang clang, the Infinity turned onto the side track and entered the airport platform. The two massive Doomsday trains appeared in the cockpit's field of view, one on the left and one on the right. As the Infinity moved forward, hundreds of carriages continuously receded. Lin Xian and the others peered into the windows of the trains. Countless survivors watched curiously as their black armored trains sped by. The two trains were strikingly different. The Silver Star on the left boasted meticulously appointed interiors. As his gaze roamed, he could see a number of beautifully appointed accommodations, dining cars, entertainment cars, and medical cars. Lin Xian even spotted a brightly lit classroom where children sat at rows of high-end desks. The exterior armaments of the Silver Star were also formidable, revealing a sense of extreme spending. The Finger Group was once a prominent conglomerate in Longuo, specializing in technology, military industry, and transportation. It was rumored that the group was also involved in the construction of the Circumstellar Orbital System, demonstrating its considerable strength. Seeing this doomsday train, a moving utopia, was truly eye-opening for Lin Xian and the others. "Oh my god, over 100 carriages! This train must have everything," Kiki exclaimed in amazement, nudging Lin Xian with her elbow. "Hey, can you scan it?" Lin Xian chuckled helplessly. He couldn't even fully scan the Infinity, so how could he imagine scanning an Eternal-class mobile city? Meanwhile, on the left side of the Infinity, the train steadily receding through the windows bore a striking contrast to the Silver Star. It was a train fortress, similar to the Infinity, but with extensive exterior modifications. Most of the carriages were double-decker, painted in a variety of colors. Every other carriage had cannons and heavy machine guns mounted on its roof. While not as long as the Silver Star, it looked like it was equally well stocked. As the Infinity passed, many passengers in the accommodation carriage of Longshan No. 1 leaned over the windows to observe. The train's exterior armor exuded an air of both wildness and safety. As a doomsday fortress converted from an intercontinental train, its operating power and internal subsystems must be at least several times greater than Lin Xian's Infinity. In fact, with Lin Xian's current dual locomotive configuration, pulling 20 or 30 carriages is quite easy. It's just that he only has a few people, and he can only craft the armor himself, so it's difficult to complete it in a short period of time. Thank you all for your 3,000 monthly votes. I'll add an update today, and will continue to add more to the mid-month update tomorrow, the 15th. I'm begging for your mid-month votes tomorrow. Every 1,000 votes will increase the update. Chapter 141 Federal Investigation Team. Finally, the Infinity pulled into the front of Track 7, awaiting dispatch from the control tower. Suddenly, Lin Xian felt reunited with the order of human society. His loneliness from drifting in the darkness suddenly lessened. The train stopped, and Lin Xian opened the carriage door and stepped out. Looking around, he saw the vast airport platform densely packed with convoys waiting in line. With the onset of night, all the airport's major entry and exit gates had been sealed. Under the darkness, the sky was murky. Machine gun emplacements on the airport's high walls unleashed a steady stream of fire. Several 1,130mm close-in weapon systems provided aerial protection. On the platform above the elevator, 2 railguns emitted a pale blue electric arc. Beyond this, a vast array of damaged and inoperable defenses lay. It was clear that these remaining weapons had been urgently deployed and repaired by the Phoenix Order for the airport platform. Numerous convoys of survivors awaited their turn to ascend the elevator, and the square was filled with a diverse array of survivors. A large number of Iron Guard Brigade troops moved through the crowd, and transport vehicles continuously delivered various weapons and ammunition to support the outer defense line. In just a moment, the strong smell of gunpowder smoke filled everyone's noses. Chen Sixuan glanced around and said worriedly, "The situation looks very tense. If the defense line is lost, no one here will know where to run." At this time, Su Jin, Shu Qin, Lao Mo and others also parked their cars and walked over. Su Jin looked at the high-altitude climbing tunnel and sighed. Judging from this situation, the queue will probably last until late at night. With so many jellyfish coming, I wonder if the Iron Guard Brigade can hold it, Shu Qin said. With the firepower of the Iron Guard Brigade, it should be possible, as long as it is not the one we encountered that day in Daluo Mountain. Lao Mo waved his hand. Don't underestimate the firepower of the army. The most troublesome thing is the internal infection caused by the invasion at night, and those big things. Lin Xian was a little curious. Didn't we receive information from the airport guard regiment before? How come we haven't seen any of them? Guard regiment. Those people are now in the inner harbor protecting that group of rich people. A heroic voice came, and everyone looked in the direction of the voice, only to see a tall middle-aged man walking over. He had a square face and a beer belly, and wore a thick plush coat. There were also several people following him. As they walked over, their eyes kept examining the infinity behind Lin Xian. What a strange configuration. An old heavy-duty gas turbine locomotive is pulling, but it is towed by a Gemini 11R nuclear-powered electric locomotive. What's going on? Gas turbines are not suitable for escape at all. The energy source is not guaranteed. The armor plates look good, like standard parts. It seems like there are only armor but no weapons, but they don't seem to have many people. It's amazing that they can do this. Hey! Don't point fingers at others, the middle-aged man interrupted, then glanced at Lin Xian, stretched out his hand and said, "Meet each other, Longshan number 1, Shidian, Longshan number 1? Lin Xian looked at the intercontinental heavy-duty doomsday train in the distance that looked like a moving city, then he understood. Reached out and shook hands with him, and said seriously, "Infinity, Lin Xian, infinity? It sounds very domineering." Shidian nodded and said straight to the point, "Many people saw the fire in the sky south of the city just now. The airport was originally closed, but it was open specially for you. I guess you encountered some big guy, a lot of big jellyfish." Sasha interrupted at this time, "Didn't you see it? There are a lot of big guys in the dark night." A woman behind Shidian said, "We encountered a lot of things in the sky. Just now you said that the guards are all in the inner harbor. What do you mean?" Lin Xian asked puzzledly. He's probably talking about the FBI. Ding Junai, who was standing behind him, picked up her laptop and walked over. "I've contacted them using the airport's information system. This team was specially dispatched by Star City headquarters to investigate the incident at Underground City 9. Dr. Zhao and I still have our identities and permissions in the system, so I checked their mission logs. They're also responsible for relocating some first-class citizens and senior management personnel stranded at the airport during the Great Migration. It's a rescue mission." Lin Xian was puzzled by Ding Junai's words. Was it Ding Junai's contact with the FBI that allowed them in? So the former federal government's headquarters is now in Star City? Aren't they afraid of being enveloped by the polar night? Kiki asked. Ding Junai looked at her. The federal government's doomsday policy has always been the underground city plan. That hasn't changed. What a bunch of damned old fogies. Kiki had expressed immense dislike for the former federal government ever since she learned of Underground City 9's self-destruction protocol. Ha, they're a bunch of stubborn old fools indeed. This investigation team arrived the day before yesterday, and it looks like they were planning to take a few hundred people away in a large airship, Steve said with disdain. These bastards mobilized the airport guard regiment to protect their airport, preferring not to fire a single shot at those first-class citizens protecting them rather than come to reinforce the defense line. That's why the defense line is now filled with soldiers from the Iron Guard Brigade. Yeah, The Iron Guard Brigade suffered heavy losses yesterday and was supposed to be back at the airport to rest, but now they're shouldering the entire airport defense. They haven't had a break in days." Everyone frowned at this remark. Many knew that the Iron Guard Brigade had suffered a fierce battle at Dallo Mountain, resulting in heavy casualties. Hearing about the actions of the federal investigation team, they felt a certain indignation. Lin Xian asked, "Why should the airport guards obey their orders? Isn't the current official government the order of the apocalypse?" "It's not that simple. The order has only been established for a few months, and there are still many issues between the old and new governments. The airport guards are a local city force, and their mobilization authority isn't as clear as the Interstellar Army and the Iron Guard Brigade." Lao Mo raised his sunglasses and stepped out to speak. Before he finished speaking, a group of armed men, armed with live ammunition, drove up in several shuttle buses at a rapid speed. There seemed to be several federal government officials on board, and they soon arrived at the airport plaza. The leader was a blonde woman in her early 40s, wearing a black leather jacket and sunglasses. She walked with a decisive gait, and she looked like a white North American. Ding Junai, noticing the armed men's attire, immediately spoke up. "Airport Guard Regiment, those should be federal officials." Lin Xian looked toward the train behind him. Zhao Yan and Su Wen were still hiding in the carriage, afraid to leave. "So," he said to Ding Junai, "since your people are here, let them get off." Ding Junai glanced at Lin Xian and said, "The investigation team may need to talk to you. No matter what they say, just refuse." Lin Xian chuckled. "In a sense, the survivors now are all citizens abandoned by your federal government. So, from a sociological perspective, I'm not under their jurisdiction. Let them take care of themselves." With the survivors fleeing everywhere, social order has collapsed. Currently, only the Phoenix Society of the Apocalypse Federation is organizing global aid for survivors, with the Interstellar Army and the Iron Guard also being dispatched by the Phoenix Society. In these circumstances, in Lin Xian's eyes, the former federal government is no different from a civilian organization. Ding Junai didn't hear the sarcasm in Lin Xian's words at all. She remained calm, her hands in her pockets, waiting for the federal officials to arrive. "Thank you all for your 3,000 monthly votes. I will add more chapters today, and will continue to add chapters tomorrow, the 15th, at the middle of the month. I beg for your mid-month votes tomorrow in advance. Every 1,000 votes will increase the chapters." Chapter 142 Resignation. Whoa. A group of armed guards exited the car and hurried behind the blonde woman, drawing the attention of many survivors from the airport's convoys. The blonde woman glanced indifferently at Lin Xian and the others before settling on Ding Junai, dressed in a research uniform. She walked directly up to her, pulled out a mobile device, checked her profile, and said indifferently, "I'm Taylor Marino, the Federal Division Director and the leader of this special investigation team. Were you the one who contacted us just now?" The woman spoke with a superior tone and an air of pride. She ignored Lin Xian, Shi Dian, and the others, her gaze fixed on Ding Junai. "It was me," Ding Junai replied. Taylor glanced at the group and said, "According to you, 3 members of your biological research department escaped from underground city number 9. Where are they?" Zhao Yan and Su Wen, who were in the car, saw the FBI team appear and hurried out, clutching their laptop bags. Me. It's us." Before Ding Junai could say anything, Zhao Yan and Su Wen eagerly jumped out of the car and introduced themselves to Taylor. "I'm Zhao Yan, a PhD in molecular biology from the Biological Research Department of Underground City 9, Su Wen, a PhD in biochemistry from the Biological Research Department of Underground City 9, and a full-fledged employee of the federal government," Su Wen quickly added. Although the higher-ups at Underground City 9 had abandoned them without hesitation during the evacuation, Zhao Yan and Su Wen were still filled with indescribable excitement upon seeing the FBI team again. The fact that they had come specifically to see them showed their importance to the federal government as scientific researchers. Taylor looked at the 3 researchers with a scrutinizing gaze. "The flight investigation team we sent to Underground City 9 yesterday has been out of contact for over 11 hours. Do you know what happened? It's been invaded by underground creatures and completely destroyed." Ding Junai pulled a portable hard drive from her pocket and handed it to her. "Here are the Underground City system logs I obtained, as well as research materials from our biological research department. They contain the information you seek." Taylor glanced at it, and a deputy beside her immediately took it and connected it to a mobile terminal. Soon, a large amount of information was retrieved from it. The incident is not much different from headquarters expectations. It should be an S-level nocturnal entity, the deputy reported quietly after a thorough inspection. If that's the case, there's no point in continuing the investigation. Prepare to evacuate, Taylor said indifferently. She then looked at Ding Junai and the other two. Take them away as well. They'll be needed for further investigation. Really? That's great. Thank you, Director Taylor. Zhao Yan and Su Wen were overjoyed, their emotions difficult to express. From the terror and despair of being buried deep in the dungeon, to escaping, and now receiving official asylum, the two had felt like they were in a cycle of hell. Also, Taylor fiddled with his mobile device, pulling out a document. In addition to investigating Dungeon Number 9, this special investigation team's mission also involves investigating a secret research item from the Biological Research Department. Did you manage to take any of it with you during your escape? Zhao Yan and Su Wen's expressions changed slightly. The mobile device displayed a research code name that no one else could understand, but Ding Junai and the other two knew clearly that the secret item was the Blood Calamity Plant Number 1, the Hell Black Chrysanthemum. As a senior federal government official, Taylor was clearly a shrewd person. She quickly detected something amiss in the strange expressions on their faces. Without a word, she picked up her mobile device and began searching the system logs. She quickly saw how Lin Xian and his team rescued Ding Junai and the others, and also saw them move the Calamity Plant cultivation chamber. I understand. Taylor handed the mobile device to his deputy and then walked past Ding Junai, Zhao Yan, and the other two to Lin Xian. Sir, on behalf of the federal government, I thank you for your assistance to our scientific research employees. Now, please return the assets belonging to the federal government. I will provide you with some survival supplies as compensation. Chen Sixuan and the others' expressions suddenly changed. Even Shukin and the others frowned. They were unsure of the assets Taylor was referring to. But Lin Xian knew immediately, it was the pot of black flowers. To his surprise, from what Director Taylor had just said, the pot of flowers seemed to be one of the targets of their special investigation team's mission, which was much more valuable than he had expected. What if I refuse? Just as everyone was speculating about the content of the federal director's conversation with Lin Xian, Lin Xian's words surprised everyone. Taylor's brow furrowed as he spoke. You refuse? I refuse. Lin Xian nodded with a smile. I'm not your employee, nor have I accepted any commission from you. The rescue was merely a side mission. Therefore, everything we retrieved from Dungeon 9 is our team's property. Can I refuse? Excuse me, but everything in Dungeon 9 is the property of the federal government, Taylor sneered. His gaze swept toward the train behind Lin Xian, his tone becoming threatening. Including that Gemini 11R nuclear-powered electric locomotive? Lin Xian's face darkened. He had no talent, yet something he'd risked his life to retrieve was now, publicly, the property of the federal government. This was sheer shamelessness. His expression hardened, and he met her gaze, challenging her. So, Ms. Taylor, how are you going to take it from me? Taylor's expression changed slightly. She met Lin Xian's gaze, then took a step back and shouted coldly, Guards! Crack, crack, crack. Instantly, dozens of armed guards behind her raised their guns and pointed them at Lin Xian and his men. Shi Dian and the others frowned at the scene, unsure how the situation had suddenly become so tense. Zhao Yan and Su Wen were terrified, standing on the side of the investigation team, feeling neither right nor wrong. Then, Ding Junai suddenly stepped forward, hands in her pockets, and stood beside Lin Xian, silent. Taylor's eyes narrowed. Director Ding, what do you mean? The research data I provided just now contains all my achievements as a federal employee in the Biological Research Institute. Strictly speaking, this part of the achievements, including mine, has already become assets that the federal government has abandoned. Now that I have recovered them, it shows that I have fulfilled the federal employee agreement, so I now formally resign to you. From this moment on, I am no longer a federal employee. Director Ding, are you crazy? Zhao Yan on the opposite side was shocked when she heard this. She was clearly being pointed at with a gun, but she wanted to jump to the opposite side at this time. Zhao Yan couldn't believe what Ding Junai's brain circuit was. She lowered her voice and said anxiously, we can leave by airship soon. Where are you going if you resign here? Could it be? As she spoke, she looked at Lin Xian with a complicated look, and held back some words. Don't you know how dangerous it is? In essence, she and Su Wen still have a certain sense of superiority over those survivors. After all, They are intellectual employees. Even in doomsday, they are important assets and do not need to die on the front line. They are protected in the Scientific Research Institute. Although they were rescued by Lin Xian, the train was no match for the safety of the lab. They'd spent less than a day on the journey, and half of it was spent in fear, worried about their lives. So, she couldn't understand why Ding Junai had suddenly made such a decision. That's right, Director Ding, what are you thinking? Su Wen said. Taylor was extremely displeased. Although she believed that Ding Junai and her fellow researchers were no more valuable than first-class citizens, in this situation, her actions were undoubtedly a slap in the face of her, a senior federal official. It was unbearable. Ding Junai's actions also startled Kiki and Chen Sixuan, leaving them all puzzled. Only Lin Xian knew what Ding Junai was thinking, but he glanced at the woman beside him and hadn't expected her to be so brave. Thank you all for your 3,000 monthly votes. An additional update will be added today, and another will be added tomorrow, the 15th, at mid-month. I'm begging for your mid-month votes tomorrow. Every 1,000 votes will result in a new update. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 143 Rage. Okay, I accept your resignation, Taylor's eyes sternly sneered. Since you're no longer employees of the federal government, I can now label you all terrorists who plundered federal assets. Perhaps that's what you want, terrorists? I don't think so. Lin Xian stared at the dozens of guns pointed at him, his face unfazed. He raised his hands and shouted, "Do you think you're the only ones with guns?" Click, click, click. Suddenly, a sharp sound echoed, and the black muzzle of a Remington M96 suddenly pressed against Taylor's forehead. Shuken. At the same time, Dalu, Su Jin, Lao, and the hundreds of armed personnel from the three convoys raised their guns. They all stood behind Lin Xian, aiming at Taylor and the guards behind her. Even Shasha had drawn her grenade launcher. The small figure stood beside Lin Xian, staring intently at the blonde woman before her. Haha, these women, they still think they were the official government, robbing the survivors. Seated of Longshan number 1, watching nearby, saw what was going on. He scoffed and snapped his fingers. The men behind him drew their weapons, aiming them at Taylor and the others. Just right, I'm also annoyed with you, a bunch of lackeys. If you dare, shoot me. A fierce battle was imminent. You're crazy. You dare to challenge the federal government? Taylor's face turned pale, and he roared, Zhang Wei, I command you to shoot all these thugs on the spot. Zhang Wei, the commander of the guard regiment, a man in his 30s with a buzz cut, was wavering in the tense situation. Captain, the men beside Zhang Wei glanced at him with a grim expression. What should we do? Hold your composure. Don't shoot at the people, Zhang Wei said in a low voice. If the guard regiment clashed with the Survivor Alliance here, chaos would surely ensue. With a zombie tide surrounding the city, no one wanted a bloody conflict within. Federal government, bah, Su Jin spat fiercely on the ground, gun in hand. When disaster struck, you abandoned the people the first thing you did. Now you have the nerve to call yourself a government. Su Jin's words were like a raging fire, instantly igniting the anger of many present. Although the natural disaster wasn't caused by the federal government, as leaders, they had not only abandoned the working people, but even in this life-or-death situation, their top priority wasn't defending the airport, but protecting those first-class citizens. Seeing this, many of the onlookers gathered around with angry faces, and the number of them grew. That's right, the Phoenix Society is the only one dispatching rescue organizations now. You're nothing. Where were you during the polar night, cowards? Fuck federal government. Go back to the ground and eat shit. The crowd was furious, and more people gathered around, ready to fight. Dozens of guards looked around, their faces drastically changed. They kept switching the muzzles of their guns, but they did nothing to stop the approaching crowd. Lin Xian watched this scene with a sneer. It seemed he wasn't the only one fuming about this utterly deplorable federal government. Everyone was burning with anger. Which of the survivors at the airport hadn't experienced family shattering, separation, and death? If this anger were directed at the federal government, it would be more than a mere senior executive could bear. Taylor's face paled with rage at the sight of this. Her chest heaving, she roared. You guys. Are you rebelling? Rebellion? That's not the word for you, Taylor. Suddenly, a resounding, powerful voice echoed. Bang, bang, bang. Outside the crowd, a large number of Iron Guard soldiers advanced quickly. These soldiers, armed with heavy weapons and clad in active exoskeleton armor, clearly had an aura that was unmatched by the armed survivors. Seeing the Iron Guard's arrival, many survivors automatically made way. Lin Xian looked over and saw a middle-aged woman leading the way, wearing a uniform emblazoned with a crimson phoenix emblem. The Phoenix Society. Lin Xian was surprised to see a familiar face among the group, Zhang Yun. Taylor's face darkened upon seeing the newcomer, but she still held her chin high and demanded, "Team Leader Bai, I've been ordered to investigate regional affairs. Are you interfering with us?" The middle-aged woman known as Team Leader Bai glared at her sharply, dismissing her. "This has nothing to do with your regional affairs. The airport platform is now under the control of the Phoenix Society and the 52nd Iron Guard Brigade. Please refrain from disrupting order here." What a joke. Yubei Airport is also a federal asset. You can take it over just like that. Taylor glanced at the Iron Guard soldiers behind her and snarled, "What? You, the 52nd Iron Guard Brigade, have suffered defeats all the way to Yubei, from Fengcheng, Chong'an, and Xinglong. You have no other skills, yet you dare to raise your guns against the federal government." Her words infuriated all the Iron Guard soldiers. "If you don't understand me, I have no problem expelling you from the airport," Bai Shuang said, her eyes sharp and stern, like a warning to leave. Chi 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 chi. As soon as she finished speaking, the heavily armored soldiers of the Iron Guard Brigade behind her shuddered, raising their weapons in a clear gesture of intimidation. Bai Shuang's words, though neither soft nor gentle, carried a powerful sense of oppression, causing Taylor's expression to shift slightly. Taylor's side consisted of only a guard regiment of less than 100 men, while behind Bai Shuang was the 52nd Iron Guard Brigade. Following the dissolution of the federal government, both the Interstellar Army and the Iron Guard Brigade had sided with the Order of the Phoenix, leaving Project One with no chance of challenging the order. Taylor's face paled with rage. Looking at the guns pointed at her, she dared not confront the order or the survivors head-on. She maintained a stern expression, scanning Lin Xian and Bai Shuang's faces. "Don't think this is over. I'll report this to the magnates, and the assets belonging to the Federation will be recovered. Your presence is at hand," Lin Xian replied dismissively. He didn't care about offending the crappy federal government. He couldn't possibly surrender the spoils his team had fought so hard to obtain. The more this opponent behaves like this, the more important this blood-plagued plant is. With that, Taylor turned and left, leaving in disgrace. Zhao Yan and Su Wen gave Lin Xian and Ding Junai a complicated look before hurriedly following behind. "Get lost, bullshit government, what a bunch of idiots." Watching Taylor and his companions retreat, the onlookers shouted in relief. At this moment, the woman named Bai Shuang and her men approached Lin Xian. Zhang Yun took the lead, introducing them. "Team Leader Bai, this is Lin Xian, the Infinity Team Leader, Lin Xian. This is Bai Shuang, the leader of the Airport Emergency Response Team, dispatched by the Phoenix Society. She was the one who arranged for your expedited passage through the platform." "I see," Lin Xian nodded, looking at Bai Shuang with gratitude. "Thank you very much, you're welcome. It's because Zhang Yun introduced your team to me that we didn't need to conduct a temporary inspection." Upon hearing this, Lin Xian wondered if Zhang Yun had facilitated the emergency passage earlier. He wondered how this guy had suddenly become so connected to the emergency response team leader. Bai Shuang finished speaking, glancing around and speaking directly. "It's great that all of you large teams are here. We're experiencing an emergency at the airport. Our emergency response team is short-handed, and the 52nd Iron Guard Brigade suffered heavy losses. For everyone's safe evacuation, we need your support." "What do you mean by emergency?" Shi Dian asked directly. Bai Shuang pointed at the massive climbing elevator behind them. "The climbing elevator's broken." The moment these words were spoken, the faces of many team captains suddenly changed, and the atmosphere suddenly became tense. "Huh? The elevator's broken. No wonder the sequence stopped. What should we do? Can it be repaired, or are we trapped here?" "Don't worry, everyone. It's not a major malfunction. Our engineers have assessed it and estimate it will take about 3 to 5 hours to repair," Bai Shuang, sensing the uneasy atmosphere, quickly explained. Hearing it could be repaired, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Those who made it here had almost no escape route. The entire Yubei city was under siege by zombies. Now, in the darkness, deadly and bizarre creatures were everywhere. If the climbing elevator failed, they would be practically doomed. So, when you say support, you want us to help hold the line, Xian said casually. You don't have to tell me. I'm also going to bring some people up to help. Bai Shuan nodded, his expression slightly serious. Yes, tonight's attack is much more serious than the previous 2 days. We suspect it's related to the Midnight Corpse drivers. Thank you all for your 3,000 monthly votes. I'll update today, and will continue to update tomorrow, the 15th, at the middle of the month. I'm begging for your mid-month votes tomorrow. I'll update every 1,000 votes later. Chapter 144 Support. Midnight Corpse Chasers, are there really such things? Someone in the crowd exclaimed in panic. Has anyone seen one? Do we have time to evacuate? The radio said everyone who encountered one died. Everyone, be quiet. Bai Shuang suddenly spoke loudly, her eyes stern. Whatever it is, the danger is imminent. If you want to survive, don't just sit around and wait. Anyone with weapons or special abilities who can fight can go to the airport defense line and help resist the zombie tide. If we lose this, we will have no way out. Her words instantly sobered many people. On Lin Xian's side, Chen Sixuan, Kiki, and the others also looked nervous. They had fled all the way here, and no one had any way to retreat. Jiang Yun then stepped forward and said, I suggest everyone calm down for now. Team Leader Bai, please let us know what kind of assistance you need. If any of the fleets here can provide it, we'll do an on-site survey and then have the emergency team dispatched to avoid chaos. Okay, since this is an emergency, Team Leader Bai, if you need anything, just let us know. We have plenty of weapons aboard Longshan number 1, Xian said arrogantly. And our Silver Star, snap, snap. At that moment, a group of people hurried over. Everyone looked and saw 2 young people, a man and a woman, approaching the square, flanked by several heavily armed guards. Both wore luxurious fleece coats, adorned with silver cross medallions on their chests. They were immaculately clean from head to toe, their demeanor aloof, a stark contrast to the disheveled survivors. The leading woman, strikingly beautiful and elegant, spoke directly. The Silver Star has 800 armed personnel aboard, and we also have 42 engineers in various fields who can provide assistance if needed. Lin Xian was secretly shocked by this statement. This was even more outrageous. A single train had the firepower of nearly a regiment, including over 40 engineers. This was truly a once international corporation. Its wealth was truly remarkable. Seeing the 2 large trains express their support, the atmosphere grew more positive, and many teams began to express their willingness to assist. With everyone's lives at stake, everyone had to rally together. Outside the airport, the roar of gunfire deafened the heavens, and the battle intensified. Besides Lin Xian, Shu Qin, Su Jin, and Lao Mo's convoys, the largest were the train convoys of the Silver Star and Longshan number 1. The Silver Star, in addition to its 42 dispatched engineers, also had over 800 well-equipped armed personnel, while Longshan number 1, excluding the elderly, children, women, and children aboard, also had over 500 armed personnel. Combined, the 2 convoys had the combat power of nearly a regimental-level military unit. As for the convoys, Jiang Yun's Chasing Wind Convoy, the Big Beard Convoy, and the other combat forces counted in the square totaled over 1,000 men. However, the combat effectiveness of these survivors was relatively scattered, incomparable to that of the Silver Star, and even more so than that of the Iron Guard Brigade. Okay, this is the current situation. Seeing that everyone was mobilized, Bai Shuang said without any nonsense, now the gate at Gate A has malfunctioned and cannot be closed. A large number of zombies and strange bodies have poured in. The Iron Guard Brigade has dispatched heavy troops to block it. In addition, the airport radar has detected a number of large strange bodies approaching from the air. Preliminary detection shows that they are at least B-level sky jellyfish. The S-level atmospheric jellyfish is also very likely to be in the airspace near Yubai City. Sky jellyfish? What about the orbital electromagnetic cannon? Xian pointed to the air defense weapons on the building above the airport. That thing should be able to deal with it. The power is limited and cannot be activated all of them, an engineer named Wei Kexo in Bai Shuang's emergency team said at this time. The airport's power system suffered a heavy blow before. This is why we only activated 1 climbing elevator. At the same time, we have to protect the electromagnetic acceleration device in the high-altitude channel. Otherwise there will be a car crash inside. Okay, but the Silver Star and our Longshan #1 vehicle both have air defense equipment. They can all be used, Shi Dian said, looking at Jian Zuo. Yes, our Silver Star's weapon system will remain online, Jian Zuo said in a steady voice. However, the airport is too vast, and the area we can cover is limited, so, there are three main issues right now. The first is the gate at Gate A, the second is air defense, and the third is the malfunction of the climbing elevator, Lin Xian asked. Bai Shuang nodded. Lin Xian looked at Wei Kexu and said, then please ask what the specific malfunction of the climbing elevator is. I know a little about mechanics and may be able to help. As he finished speaking, an untimely sneer was heard. Everyone looked over and saw that it was the young man next to Jian Zuo, who was now looking at him with a look of laughter. Jiang, Jian Zuo scolded with an unhappy expression. Excuse me, Jian Jiang quickly waved his hand at Lin Xian. I didn't mean to offend. I just wanted to say, do you know what a climbing elevator is? It's no ordinary machine. It's a near-ground super climbing device with a vertical height of 4,800 meters and a gradient of nearly 90%. Just knowing a little about mechanical structure isn't enough to help you. If it's troubleshooting or some less complex supporting components, perhaps I can help. Lin Xian ignored the dismissive tone in Jian Jiang's words. His focus at the moment was on solving the actual problem. Captain Lin, are you serious? Zhang Yun asked bluntly, looking at him with a clear gaze. Lin Xian took a deep breath, raised his hand, and with a flick of his hand, a fluorescent glow emanated from his palm. Streams of material flew out, condensing, shaping, forging, and assembling. Clang, clang, clang. A heavy metal door was forged from thin air, then slammed to the ground with a dull clang. My ability is mechanical. Repairing machinery, as long as it's not too large scale, should be no problem for me. Everyone's eyes widened at this scene. Lin Xian's companions, however, were filled with pride, giving off an air of, despite our small numbers, we're all elites. What mechanical? Do you have such an ability? Incredible, oh my god. Zhang Yun's gaze shifted slightly as he looked at Lin Xian, a sincere smile playing on his face, as if he'd only guessed at the tip of the iceberg, and the reality was even stranger. No wonder your infinity is so heavily armored. I was wondering how with so few of you could build something this massive? You're truly a hidden dragon, Jian Zuo, on the other side. Stared at Lin Xian in amazement, genuinely surprised. Jian Jiang, on the other hand, was speechless with shock. Bai Shuang looked at Lin Xian with surprise, then said, I see. Captain Lin, please come with us into the elevator. If we can expedite the repairs, everyone's chances of survival will be better. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He didn't want to flaunt his supernatural powers or act heroic, but the fate of his own team and countless others depended on it. Since he could help, he couldn't afford to dwell on selfish motives. Besides, helping with mechanical repairs sounded like a practical task, not a particularly outrageous one. That's great, Wei Kexu said with delight. Captain Lin, there's indeed a component malfunction. If you're free, come with us and take a look. I think we should address the issue with Gate A first. If we don't stop the leak, it could be a major problem, Lin Xian said. Okay, Bai Shuang said to Wei Kexu. Let's divide them up. Areas A5 and A7 are the most critically affected right now. Areas C1 and C2, D9, and E6 all require significant assistance, especially from psychics with long-range attack capabilities or heavy weaponry. Over 19 C-class anomalous entities have been detected so far, and the threat is enormous. Since Gate A is the most dangerous, I'll take my men with me. Let's address the gate first, and then we'll support the other areas. Zhang Yun also stepped forward. A consensus was reached on the support plan, and the survivor convoys began mobilizing personnel and weapons to support the various defense lines. Lin Xian also quickly made deployments. Shu Qin, Su Jin, and Lao Mo's men, all able to assist, joined by Shuang's efforts to support the Iron Guard Brigade ahead. Teacher Chen, Director Ding, you stay in the car. Sasha, Kiki, and Lu Xingchen from the building come with me to exit A first. We'll see what happens after we've resolved the situation. Those two women got off the car, so do I have to get off too? Lu Xingchen just saw the scene and looked at Lin Xian with a defensive face. Hey, I don't have a car to stay in now. Did you agree to give me a car to stay in? What? Lin Xian showed a surprised expression. And then Kiki pulled him over and explained in his ear. Only then did he understand what Lin Xian meant, and said in a deep voice, "No problem. After we pass the high-altitude corridor, car number 5 will be ready for you to use. The joining of a fire-type mutant is a good thing for the entire team. This guy is strong and courageous. He is indeed a good teammate." "That's generous." Lin Xian's eyes lit up, and he breathed a sigh of relief. Suddenly, he thought of something. Should I live alone in such a big carriage? Wouldn't it be a little too empty? Lin Xian nodded and looked at the building. "Alright, then the building will move over too, so you two can take care of each other." "Huh?" Lin Xian turned around and looked at the building that was as big as an iron tower, his face startled. No, that's not what I meant." "Okay, Brother Xian," the building agreed without hesitation. Lin Xian tutted his lips, and after accepting the reality, he looked at the building with a complicated expression. "Hey, brother, do you snore?" The building scratched his face. "I usually sleep quite quietly." "That's good." Lin Xian breathed a sigh of relief. "Do you mind if I snore?" The building. "Okay." Lin Xian clenched his fists. Looking eager to try, "It's my turn to save the world." Continue to update explosively. Today is the middle of the month and I'm begging for a wave of monthly votes. Thank you all for your support. Every 1,000 votes will add more chapters. Chapter 145 Gate. Everyone loaded their weapons and began to defend the airport. Beep, whine, whine. The fire from the 1,130mm close-in weapon system illuminated the sky. Above, the silhouette of a giant jellyfish slowly approached, its rim curling upward. The zombies piled high atop the walls began to climb one after another. Whoosh! Various preloaded missiles blasted at the towering, uncanny forms within the zombie swarm. Humanoid giants, black centipedes slithering along the tracks, and other bizarre creatures Lin Xian had never seen before constantly appeared in the city streets. These forms, indiscriminately devouring zombies, advanced towards the airport. The bright lights of the airport seemed to frighten these forms. They hid in the shadows and darkness, or unexpectedly scaled the walls, taking the lives of several soldiers before retreating and lying dormant under the overwhelming firepower. Boom, boom, boom. With more survivors and psychics joining the ranks, the pressure on the Iron Guard Brigade's defenses eased somewhat. "Don't you think there are too many zombies and strange entities in this city?" Lin Xian and the others boarded the airport shuttle, quickly rushing towards Gate A. Kiki frowned, looking at the high, blazing walls. "It feels like those monsters have received some sort of notification and are rushing over here. Maybe they have some zombie leader who's deliberately charging us." Lin Xian's imagination was always wild. "Did I just say that about the corpse driver?" "Maybe you were right," Zhang Yun responded. "By the way," Lin Xian asked Zhang Yun, who was sitting upstairs, "I heard you encountered the Black Crows. How did you get together with the emergency team?" Zhang Yun, wearing sunglasses, turned around and said, "The bearded man and I encountered that atmospheric jellyfish at Pinga Lake. The Iron Guard Brigade was also there at the time." Lin Xian remembered something. "A few hours ago, we, Shuken, Su Jin, and the others took out that Black Crows." "Really? Well done. I owe you one." Zhang Yun smiled faintly, his expression somewhat bleak. He said softly, "This journey was full of dangers. Not everyone is lucky." Lin Xian said nothing. Remembering that Zhang Yun and that little brother must have had a good relationship, he couldn't help but sigh. Beside him, Sasha was busy stuffing shells into her grenade launcher. She was carrying a large backpack full of ammunition that Lin Xian had prepared for her. Lin Xian had originally built her a sturdy bulletproof backpack for ammunition, but it was so heavy the little girl couldn't even straighten her back. So, once he could build a custom armor set, he planned to make one for Sasha. Sasha had no special abilities and was young, so he was a little worried about constantly accompanying her in battle. Fortunately, there was a building nearby where he could keep an eye on her. Wei Keksu, a lean middle-aged man, had been buried in his computer the entire time. He spoke nervously, "This isn't good. Those monsters are smart. They seem to be gathering towards Gate A." His words, as if confirming Lin Xian's teasing, sounded eerie. Bang, boom, 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 boom. The deafening roar of gunfire intensified as several shuttle buses approached the already vulnerable Gate A. Hundreds of Iron Guard Brigade soldiers surrounded the massive gate, opening it a gap of about 2 meters. Countless zombies swarmed inside. Machine guns and artillery shells from the high walls continuously fired at the larger, strange entities outside. More and more zombie corpses piled up, blocking the gate. Building Sasha, you guys just provide long-range cover fire. Kiki and Lu, help me clear the way later. Lin Xian began making arrangements before anyone arrived. If we don't close the door, this momentum won't be stopped, Zhang Yun said gravely. Captain Lin, let me help you clear a path. He pulled out his walkie-talkie and called out, Wei Yan, coming. The sound of a motorcycle engine approached rapidly. The leather-clad woman from Zhang Yun's team suddenly approached from behind. Several small guided missiles flew out of the motorcycle, dashing towards the gap in the crowded gate and exploding with a bang. Immediately, the woman named Ren Wei Yan reached out and grasped at the air, as if catching some transparent object, and hurled it toward the door. A humming sound. An extremely powerful burst of air pressure exploded, sending countless pieces of flesh and blood flying across the scene. Let's take care of the outside. Zhang Yun raised his sunglasses, turned back and signaled to Lin Xian, then jumped off the shuttle bus. A hurricane-like force swept him through the air. Winds. Lu Xingqian's eyes were blazing. Not bad, not bad. The new world is indeed full of talented people. This ability can fuel my fire and complement me perfectly. Have you fallen in love with him? Kiki rolled her eyes at him. That's wrong. In life, true friends are hard to find, Lu Xingqian. Lin Xian interrupted his bold words and pointed at the high wall. Go up and burn as much as you can, as you wish. The most urgent task was to relieve the pressure. If there were more and more zombies outside, not only would this door not be able to be closed, it might also be completely opened. At that time, it would be impossible to close it again. 2 of the gate power units are damaged, and one of the steel cables is stuck, Wei Kexu said hurriedly, holding the computer. I understand. Turn off all the gate power packs and restart them. What? If they're turned off, the gates will burst open. No, the shuttle stopped and everyone got out. Lin Xian pointed at Kiki and Lu Xingqian nearby. Wait for the right opportunity. Give them a few seconds. I understand. Wei Kexu nodded repeatedly, his face horrified. Kiki clapped his hands, his eyes brightening slightly, and he slowly took off into the air. The many survivors and Iron Guard soldiers nearby were also shocked by this scene. What was going on today? How could so many people with special abilities fly? Squeak. A red centipede, braving the hail of bullets, slithered through the gate, its densely packed legs visible, a sight that made one's scalp tingle. Seeing this giant insect, Kiki and Lin Xian finally realized that they had seen more than one strange entity. Including the white giant, several figures were now visible among the zombie horde. That thing again. Kiki was furious at the sight of the red insect. She raised her hand and used her supernatural power to grasp the giant crimson insect. Then, with a flick of her wrist, a tremendous twisting force instantly twisted the red centipede like a pretzel. Squeak. The giant insect opened its mouth and let out a piercing cry. Lu Xingqian, standing closest to the front, nearly ruptured his eardrums. He raised his hand and a thin, white, flame-like column shot directly into the insect's mouth, instantly generating intense heat and billowing black smoke. In a matter of moments, the insect's belly was scorched, unable to chirp. Just then, another crimson human skeleton suddenly emerged from the zombie swarm, opening its massive maw and unleashing a torrent of flames at the Iron Guard soldiers entrenched within. Beware of the monster's flame jet, one soldier cried out, but the next moment, a massive wave of fire and blood instantly engulfed a dozen soldiers and the survivors. Screams rang out in unison, and thick, foul-smelling smoke erupted in all directions. Da-da-da. An Iron Guard 3 mech charged forward, braving the flames, its cannon unleashing a furious storm of metal, blasting half the skeleton's torso apart. Squeak. Before anyone could recover from the giant's attack, 2 long red tentacles suddenly rose from the high wall. Another massive red centipede, its hundreds of legs throbbing, suddenly charged into the defensive formation, instantly carving a bloody path. Da-da-da. The Iron Guard soldiers fired back frantically. Look out, it's a strange entity. Bang. A massive wind blade slammed in, severing the red centipede in half, sending its upper body plummeting. Zhang Yun's eyes were sharp as he shouted, there's more than one. Look down there, the monster is breathing fire again. Everyone get out of the way. The human skeleton below, with half its torso on top, began to squeeze through the gap in the gate. The skull raised its head, facing the hail of bullets and ready to breathe fire again. The soldiers of the Iron Guard Brigade retreated together, and bullets bombarded the human skeleton crazily, sending its limbs flying everywhere. But the red in the human skeleton's mouth became even brighter, and it continued to breathe fire. Lin Xian watched this scene and immediately took a deep breath. Damn it! How dare you breathe fire in front of the god of fire? I will continue to update. Today is the middle of the month and I am begging for a wave of monthly tickets. Thank you all for your support. I will add more chapters for every 1,000 votes. Chapter 146 White-Haired Ghost Spider. Lin Xian's eyes narrowed. He planted his fists on the ground and leaped forward, his body ablaze with flames, his fists igniting. Boom. He shot forward, arriving in front of the skeleton, descending from the sky in a massive column of fire. Divine fire of annihilation, boom. A massive burst of flame erupted from his hands, devouring and reflecting the flames emanating from the skeleton's mouth. Lin Xian, watching this, sighed inwardly. True to form, there's always a counter. The flames from the skeleton's strange form had nearly incinerated Lin Xian and Kiki, yet this guy actually faced it head-on and seemingly had the upper hand. A hurricane rose from the sky, instantly fueling Lin Xian's flames. Fire power, let me help you. Zheng Yu opened his arms, and a white gust of wind madly blasted away the zombies beyond the high wall, fueling Lin Xian's flames. Buzz! At that moment, Kiki flew over, sending an invisible shockwave careening through the gate, carrying the charred human skeleton, engulfed in flames, and a multitude of zombie corpses with it, all swept out. Now's the time to close the gate. Lin Xian rushed out, shouting to Wei Kexu. The remaining gate power units began to operate at full capacity, but only one gate was functioning, slowly closing a little. Cover them. The soldiers of the Iron Guard Brigade, seeing the several psychics coming to their aid, immediately began to provide cover and suppress them, buying Lin Xian and the others some time as they opened fire frantically at the strange form scrambling towards them. The area around the gate was already littered with corpses. If it weren't for Kiki's furious sweep, the area would have been completely blocked. Lin Xian seized this opportunity to rush to the engineering room next to the gate and activated a mechanical scan, scanning the entire gate. Mechanical scan, begin. The gate was much larger than he had imagined, with 4 power units in total, 2 on each side. Not only is the cable broken, the power unit is short-circuited. Scan completed, fault detected. After the scan, he immediately created a steel cable and quickly connected it using mechanical repairs. He then repaired the power unit. Without waiting for the system to connect, he began to automatically close the gate. Woohoo! Outside the passageway where fierce fighting was taking place, the tall alloy gate suddenly began to move and then slowly closed. High in the sky, Kiki and Zheng Yu noticed the obstruction in the gate and simultaneously attacked. A hurricane force and shockwave instantly cleared the corpses of zombies and monster insects, helping the gate close. Boom! The tall alloy gate finally closed, and the zombies that had rushed into the airport were quickly wiped out by the firepower inside. The soldiers of the Iron Guard Brigade who were resisting there suddenly felt the pressure greatly reduced. Beep. The fire control radars of the two 1,130mm close-in weapon systems suddenly turned and began to fire fiercely in one direction. In the dark night sky, a gigantic white spider suddenly scrambled up from the airport tracks, revealing its terrifying form under the searchlights. White-haired ghost spider, a great bee abnormal entity, Wei Kexu shouted. A whistling gust of wind passed by, and Zheng Yun flew past at high speed, shouting, "Don't let this thing open its mouth." Puff puff puff. A stream of metal, tinged with the aura of destruction, swept across, shattering the giant spider's blood and tissue. Buzz! Ren Huayan's motorcycle sped along the edge of the defense line, nimbly weaving between the giant spider's legs. Missiles fired continuously from the motorcycle, instantly severing one of its tail legs. Lin Xian, rushing out of the engineering room, was startled by the sight of the giant spider. This creature was countless times larger than the 3-headed monster spider he had seen in the jade pool, towering into the sky. Lin Xian saw its abdomen rumbling, and his eyes froze. "Be careful, gurgle gurgle, bang." The giant spider's face was instantly blasted to pieces. Just when everyone thought it was about to be destroyed, its truck-head-sized abdomen suddenly trembled wildly, then exploded with a bang. Instantly, a shower of red acid poured down from the sky. What's that? In the square, hundreds of Iron Guard soldiers and the survivors who had come to support them stared in horror. Puff. At the same time, In the sky, Zhang Yun, Kiki, and Lu Xingchen below also looked solemn as they attacked simultaneously. Pillars of wind, telekinesis, and explosive jets of flame. Boom, 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 boom. In a flash, nearly half of the crimson acid in the air was blasted towards the zombies and monsters outside the wall, and even more was still falling. Rewind. Shield wall. Metal materials in the decomposition space flew out in a frenzy. Lin Xian increased his speed to the limit, dodging quickly, reaching the crowd and waving his hand. Clang, clang, clang. The mechanical heart raced frantically. 10 meters, 20 meters, 30 meters. A massive metal support wall rose from thin air, facing the area of greatest acid concentration. Wow! The acid splashed onto the ground, instantly radiating a stench and the smell of scorching heat. Dozens of survivors and Iron Guard soldiers, unable to avoid it, were immediately drenched in it. Screams and the hissing sound of corrosion echoed throughout the entire airport area. The crowd behind retreated in fear. Kiki watched the scene, her face pale. With telekinesis, she grasped the giant insect corpse about to fall. With a roar, she flung it out of the wall, smashing into a white corpse monster that was about to climb up. With a crashing sound, the acid poured into the zombie swarm, instantly melting the zombies in a fan-shaped area. But she had no time to dwell on these matters. Her gaze was fixed anxiously on the area worst hit by the spray. There, a massive, irregular steel wall stood, its corroded steel emitting thick white smoke. Vast quantities of molten iron melted, leaving a dense mass of holes. But these holes were quickly filled by new walls. Seeing this, Kiki's eyes relaxed, indicating that Lin Xian's mechanical abilities were continuing to function. Retreat, Lin Xian roared from behind the massive steel wall. Only then did the startled Iron Guards and the numerous survivors react, retreating frantically in fear. Ugh! The intense corrosion caused the steel to buckle and collapse. Seeing the crowd disengage, Lin Xian's grip loosened and he spun to avoid the crowd. At that moment, an invisible force seized him and yanked him from behind the crumbling wall. Lin Xian, are you okay? Kiki leaped down, looking nervously at Lin Xian. Lin Xian shook his head, breathing heavily. I'm fine. Looking ahead, a white mist from the corrosion on the ground almost enveloped half of Area A's square. A dozen survivors' vehicles and the Iron Guard Brigade's armored vehicles had instantly been reduced to charred iron frames. Beyond that, countless charred fragments in the shape of human figures lay on the ground, a terrifying sight. Whoosh! A hurricane suddenly began to blow the white mist and the stench outward. Zhang Yun landed with a stern expression and looked at Lin Xian. Captain Lin, Engineer Wei, we'll take care of this. You guys go climb the elevator, okay? Okay, Wei Kexu, his face pale and his lips dry, clutched his computer tightly. He followed several Iron Guard Brigade soldiers and boarded the shuttle bus. Lu Xingchen, Lin Xian shouted at the young man, whose upper body had been completely consumed by the flames. He then pointed to the building and the Sasha siblings, who were constantly firing from the high wall. Protect them, Brother Lin, be careful too. Sasha, now hiding behind the building, reloaded her weapons and shouted at Lin Xian. Lu Xingchen panted heavily, his eyes filled with a frantic fighting spirit. This God knows, and I will not break my promise. Girl, follow me. Lin Xian gestured slightly to Zhang Yun and Ren Huan, then immediately got into the car with Wei Kexu and drove towards the elevator. More updates. Today is the middle of the month, begging for votes. Thank you all for your support. I'll add more for every 1,000 votes. Chapter 147 Robot Blueprint. From the system's self-inspection, the faults are mainly concentrated in the drive module on the ascending orbit. These faults are usually solved as basic maintenance and are not complicated. But the problem now is that there are too many fault points and they are all within the safety protocol, so the system is forced to stop running. We don't have enough manpower now, and we need to climb to the high-altitude area of the elevator to solve it, which is time-consuming. In the car, Wei Kexu kept explaining to Lin Xian amid the huge gunfire, the engineers sent by the Silver Star can help a little, but they are all engineering repair issues. Those maintenance areas are usually solved by a large number of maintenance robots, and people alone can't do it quickly. Then why not activate the maintenance robots? Kiki asked. Wei Kexu waved his hand and said, when we arrived here a few days ago, most of the maintenance robots were still usable. But just yesterday, after the Iron Guard Brigade encountered the atmospheric mica in Daluo Mountain, it seemed that they were attacked by some kind of ionizing pulse, which caused the core program control boards of these maintenance robots to burn. Lin Xian frowned and said, so the other climbing channels were not opened. The reason is not just insufficient power, but most of the main control programs of the airport have malfunctioned, right? Wei Kexu looked a little ugly, nodded and said, we have urgently requested the headquarters to mobilize some maintenance robots to support, but there is no time. It is lucky that those electromagnetic railguns survived, otherwise we would have almost no air defense means. At that time, the zombie siege was not as serious as it is now. Those zombies and weird bodies basically did not actively attack the airport. The defense mechanism was fully activated only after the Iron Guard Brigade withdrew from the airport. At this time, the shuttle bus drove across the airport platform and began to enter the interior of the huge climbing elevator column. In an instant, the light and shadow in front of him changed, and a huge and magnificent super project appeared in Lin Xian's field of vision. Deep inside, transport tunnels stretched upward, revealing a massive black platform. All incoming trains and cars were assembled on this platform. These vehicles then underwent a 3-stage ascent, accelerating upwards in a near catapult fashion, reaching a vertical height of 4,800 meters along the tunnels. They entered the high-altitude corridor above the snow-capped mountains of the Dazhu Plateau. Within the massive corridor tubes, electromagnetic acceleration reached speeds of 1,000 kilometers per hour. In less than 5 hours, nearly the speed of a civilian aircraft, tens of thousands of tons of cargo could be transported across the plateau to Jiazhou City, 4,500 kilometers away. Engineer Wei, show me the maintenance robots, Lin Xian said. Repairing the entire elevator was clearly unrealistic. Its sheer size was comparable to a small city. Even if Lin Xian suffocated himself to death, attempting to overlay and repair it with his mechanical heart was beyond his capability. The only assistance he could offer was to manufacture some key components, provided he had the blueprints. But according to Wei Kexu, this wasn't just a problem with 1 or 2 components. If we could fix these maintenance robots, the problem would be solved much faster. Wei Kexu looked up at him, then nodded without saying anything. I understand. The shuttle bus quickly drove into a large maintenance area. Under the dim light, numerous transport chains and lifting platforms appeared. Wei Kexu operated the computer system and turned on the lights in a designated area. At that moment, the lights in front of him illuminated, and rows of small yellow maintenance robots appeared on the ground. These are PX-05 engineering robots, specially used for climbing elevator maintenance. They are normally managed directly by the airport's self-test systems center. After the malfunction occurred, several colleagues and I tried to repair a few, but we were unsuccessful. We had a few spares in the maintenance warehouse, but they were taken by the FBI to repair the airship. That FBI again. Why haven't they left yet? They're just causing us trouble, Kiki said angrily. Wei Kexu said helplessly, although we're now on different sides, our Phoenix Order's top priority is to help as many survivors as possible survive. Therefore, we can't engage in direct conflict with them. If everyone on Blue Star is dead, our resistance will be meaningless. Lin Xian said nothing, simply walking over and placing his hand on an engineering robot, initiating a mechanical scan, scanning, 15% progress, scanning 50% progress. This factory robot used small Hall strip anode layer thrusters for high-precision levitation. Lin Xian could tell from the scan's progress that it was quite sophisticated. However, he also discovered something unexpected. The robot's overall structure was intact, unlike the previous Iron Guard III military mech, whose core had been destroyed and missing, leaving only an empty shell. It was useless except for devouring, and such devouring was not much more efficient than a complete mechanical body. Therefore, unless absolutely necessary, Lin Xian prioritized intact, functioning machinery, which offered the highest efficiency and the ability to obtain complete blueprints. It took about 20 minutes for Lin Xian to complete the scan. Scan completed, obtained PX-05 engineering robot blueprint, detected a burned circuit on the main control board. Repair, repair. Lin Xian breathed a sigh of relief upon seeing the prompt. Finally, he had obtained a complete set of robot blueprints. Judging by the materials, they weren't complex, though manufacturing would be a bit slow given his current level of mechanical engineering. With this, he could easily build a fleet of maintenance robots for train maintenance and repair. He could even equip them with machine guns or howitzers to use as combat robots. Buzz buzz buzz. A blue light flickered in Lin Xian's hand. Troubleshooting those subtle wiring issues within the machine would be a nightmare for ordinary people, but for his mechanical mind, repairs were a piece of cake. Ding program starting, the PX-05 engineering robot's main control panel lit up with fluorescence. A low electrical hum echoed, and the robot's thrusters lit up with a pale blue light, slowly lifting into the air. Wow, it's really fixed. Wei Kexu raised his glasses, a look of shock on his face. He quickly checked the system and, sure enough, a numbered engineering robot showed up online. Lin Xian nodded. The first one will be a little slow. I'll start fixing everything here now. Great. Wei Kexu's eyes were filled with admiration. For a mechanical engineer, Lin Xian's ability was like a deus ex machina. With this ability, what was the point of studying control system engineering, mechanical manufacturing and equipment, CAO and mechanical components, materials forming technology, and engineering materials and applications? He wanted to become Lin Xian's apprentice, but it felt inappropriate. Then he realized that this ability probably couldn't be passed on, and he regained some of his composure. Okay, then I'll arrange maintenance right away. If there are 20 working robots, I estimate the repair will be completed in less than an hour. Lin Xian nodded and, without further ado, began repairing the next one. I will continue to update frequently. Today is the middle of the month and I am begging for monthly tickets. Thank you all for your support. I will update more for every 1,000 votes. Chapter 148 Repair. Team Leader by Captain Lin has successfully repaired the maintenance robot. We estimate the elevator repair time to be within an hour. Bang, bang, bang. Fierce fighting ensued throughout the perimeter of the airport platform, resembling a massive battlefield. In various areas, hundreds of thousands of zombies frantically climbed upwards, flames raging and explosions raging. The barrels of the fully automatic machine guns were now red hot, and each blast illuminated the dense horde of zombies surging through the city streets. Strange insects, ghouls, towering white monsters, and black bugs mingled among them. The 1130's firepower swept through everything, reducing everything to a cloud of blood and flesh. The Iron Guard Brigade, responsible for ammunition supply, had to truck in ammunition chains from the airport's military warehouse. Inside the control tower, Bai Xuan was discussing an evacuation plan with the emergency team. Hearing Wei Kexu's voice over the intercom, his expression was startled. Great! Radar has detected a massive, uncanny entity in the sky. It's likely that S-class atmospheric mica. It hasn't appeared yet. Stay safe. Boom. A dazzling blue beam exploded as the electromagnetic railgun pierced the night sky, blasting directly into an approaching sky jellyfish, piercing its center instantly. Dozens of jellyfish responded with a crashing sound. Hum, an eerie humming sound echoed, sending chills down the spines of many resisting soldiers and survivors as they saw the massive figure in the sky. Night Falcon 12 anti-aircraft missile launcher ready, with a swish, a swish. The Iron Guard Brigade's anti-aircraft missile launchers slowly rose, and two small air-launched missiles blasted out, leaving a trail of white smoke before exploding on the rim of the sky jellyfish. On the ground, a unit of the Iron Guard Brigade advanced rapidly. Leading them was a middle-aged man in his 40s, dressed in military uniform. His expression was stern and his features were formal, exuding the aura of a seasoned warrior. General, Team Leader Bai just announced that the ascent elevator will be repaired in an hour, the adjutant reported urgently from his side. Hold the convoys in the square back to the harbor. The threat is already reaching inside. Zhang Dingzhong continued walking, gesturing to the rail platform. Have Bai Xuan coordinate the movements and move everyone to the rail platform. Most of the survivors drew their weapons and began to assist the Iron Guard Brigade in the resistance. The remaining vehicles, packed with the thousands of survivors, were mostly filled with the elderly, the weak, women, and children. Where are the guards? Why haven't they come to support? Those FBI guys haven't left yet. They even contacted us, saying they need airspace escort before they'll leave. What? Escort? Zhang Dingzhong stopped and snorted. Ma Xiaodang, tell the tailor, I don't care if your plane is carrying the father of a former congressman or the son of a president. I've only got 20 minutes to get out of here, or she'll never leave. Yes, the adjutant replied immediately. General, a small earthquake has been detected in the southwest. It may be related to the strange entity. Another officer hurried forward to report. How much time do we have left to evacuate? According to the emergency response team's estimate, once the climbing elevator is repaired, it will take approximately 5 hours to evacuate all personnel at the current airport. 5 hours, Zhang Dingzhong looked up at the sky above. The darkness of the night sky oppressed the entire airport, as if a vast net were gradually converging. Inside the port, more and more survivors' vehicles were damaged by the strange entities. Many survivors who participated in the resistance died. The howling of corpses and the cries of women continued to be heard. Many survivors had lost their vehicles and support. Observing this scene, Zhang Dingzhong decisively declared, "According to my orders, unload the equipment of the artillery and air defense battalions. Have the logistics team transfer the wounded and isolated personnel in the port to the Iron Guard Brigade's transport train. Inform all battalions and units to prepare for a full-scale defense. Airship Team 1 and the remaining aircraft of Team 3 will take to the air to guard against high-altitude creatures that may damage the climbing elevator." Yes, the non-commissioned officers of Iron Guard 52 responded in unison. Elsewhere, in the maintenance area of the climbing elevator, under Lin Xian's repairs, one maintenance robot after another began to take off. Under Wei Kexu's control, they joined the maintenance sequence and flew towards the climbing elevator corridor above. As the system's fault information was continuously cleared, Wei Kexu's expression relaxed. Based on the current sequence statistics, if the repairs are completed, how long will it take to complete the entire climbing transfer? Lin Xian asked Wei Kexu as he repaired the robots in the quiet maintenance area, free of artillery fire and gunfire. The fastest, Wei Kexu took a deep breath. It will take at least 5 hours. This is the limit of what we can dispatch. After saying that, he seemed to guess what Lin Xian was thinking, and lowered his head and said, "You are a train crew. You want to use the horizon gate to rush up directly, right?" Lin Xian did not speak, but Kiki next to him said, "Isn't that possible? It's very risky." Wei Kexu said, "Not just your train. A total of 9 train crews have entered the ascent sequence in the past few days. Without a traction platform, the current measures will make it difficult to guarantee safety issues in the high-altitude channel." The traction platform that Wei Kexu mentioned refers to a device similar to a flatbed trailer, but it is more complicated in terms of safety. This device is directly connected to the track, which is equivalent to a shuttle bus on a track, and is dispatched and electromagnetically launched by the system as a whole. Therefore, the cars and trains are on this traction platform during the climbing process and the subsequent acceleration in the negative pressure high-altitude corridor. There is no need for cars and trains to start independently. This can achieve extremely high transportation efficiency and realize automated dispatching. Like a fleet of high-altitude ferries, cars and trains don't need to worry about driving, while electromagnetic acceleration technology can be directly applied to even the most basic transportation vehicles, enabling long-distance delivery of vehicles. However, if a train were to use the horizon gate without a traction platform, it would simply travel directly on the high-altitude corridor's tracks. Without the traction platform, electromagnetic acceleration would be lost, forcing it to propel itself through the air. This scenario was achievable in early operations through track information scheduling, increasing speeds to around 500 km per hour, exceeding the speed of most high-speed trains. However, the problem is that, in the current situation, if these doomsday trains were allowed to surge forward, followed by other electromagnetically accelerated vehicles, and an accident occurred while operating in the high-altitude corridor, it would cause a terrifying chain reaction, the scale of which would be unimaginable. We've actually considered increasing the number of transports at once to improve transfer efficiency, but the same problem remains, power shortage, Lin Xian replied. Wei Kexu nodded. In addition to the climbing elevator and electromagnetic acceleration system, we also have to ensure the air defense system of the high-altitude corridor, so the transportation capacity of the climbing channel has been affected. In the dark night, there may be fewer strange bodies in the sky than on the ground, but they are often more terrifying. Since the day of apocalypse, most aircraft, even orbiting satellites, have been destroyed. The sky is not safe. Our aerospace city Kinglun crashed in the deep sea of the western Pacific the day before yesterday. There were 150,000 people on it. The Phoenix Society is still trying to rescue them. It is said that something terrible appeared in the deep sea. What? Kiki frowned when he heard this. Why are you saying this? It's strange. You clearly said that there were strange bodies in the sky. How come they are in the deep sea again? Is there any difference? Wei Kexu raised his glasses and pointed to the sky. Some things that should exist in the sea also appear in the sky. In that 10,000-meter deep abyss, there must be terrifying existences that we humans cannot deal with at present. I will continue to update frequently. Today is the middle of the month and I am begging for monthly tickets. Thank you all for your support. I will update more for every 1,000 votes. Chapter 149 Earthquake. So your Phoenix Order's current headquarters is in the sky? Lin Xian asked. Wei Kexia nodded. The Phoenix Order currently has 3 headquarters, all of which are moving around the globe. Headquarters 1 is Phoenix City, high in the sky. Its current coordinates should be near the North American star Abyss 9. Headquarters 2 is the maritime city of Noah, currently moving across the Pacific Ocean. Headquarters 3, our largest land mobile center, Dawn, is currently deep within the Yunnan Mountains. He shrugged and looked at Lin Xian. The land mobile center is in a similar situation to yours. The rail trains and automobile groups are traveling along the circumstellar orbit, so this is good news for you, as the tracks are mostly intact. However, the land mobile center has strong all-terrain capabilities, so we won't maintain every location. If there are areas with severe damage or broken terrain, we will detour. Currently, our Dragon Nation's emergency response teams are being deployed by Dawn, supporting survivors in areas not covered by the star abyss, helping more people survive. The program started. Another PX-05 engineering robot was successfully started after being repaired by Lin Xian. It took off shakily and flew towards the high-altitude passage, heading to the designated area to begin maintenance work. It's just as I thought. Lin Xian took a deep breath. The most important thing is to ensure the manpower first. The polar night came too quickly, and people all over the world didn't prepare, so the world collapsed too quickly. Yes, I was still working at the company at that time. When I got home, my wife and children were gone. Wei Kexia tapped on the computer, laughing a little self-deprecatingly. Later, I kept looking among the zombies on the street, to see if they had an easier time as zombies, and whether they were bullied by other zombies. Lin Xian was silent for a moment, then said in a comforting tone, "No one knows what will happen tomorrow. Since the world is on the brink of destruction, the only way left for us is to go up. Yes, our abilities will also be stronger. In the future, maybe it won't be those guys in the dark who hunt us, but we can switch between offense and defense, and we will hunt them." Kiki gritted her teeth and said, "I totally agree." Wei Kexia nodded. Although it's only been a few months, the Phoenix Society has already made many breakthroughs in combating the shadow invasion and in researching superpowers. We'll be constantly synchronizing our efforts with survivors fleeing around the world via radio. Our belief is that if more people become stronger and more people survive, sooner or later we will stop fleeing, from order to chaos, and from chaos to order. Many fleets are now beginning to unite. This will increase their survivability and expedite the flow of information. Lin Xian worked diligently, his experience in mechanical engineering constantly improving. This support mission was a significant benefit for him. He planned to scan the blueprints for the orbital electromagnetic gun and the Iron Guard Brigade's armor and mechas when he had the chance. After crossing Jaya's house city, he would study them thoroughly and equip himself and his team with them. The Nightwalker division within the Phoenix Society, formerly composed of core personnel from the former Federation's Angel Project, is primarily responsible for researching superpowers and also recruiting superpowers. Wei Kexia explained. Recruit? Lin Xian asked. Is it just for research? Research is only a small part, Wei Kexia said. The Nightwalkers are also constantly cultivating people with special abilities in the process of exploration, and sending them to various places to rescue and collect strange objects. For now, the Nightwalkers' research on special abilities is much more detailed than the early Angel Project. Captain Lin, your special abilities are incredible, and this girl with telekinesis, the Nightwalkers need talents like you. Wei Kexia raised his glasses. In fact, you can join the Nightwalkers or cooperate with our Phoenix Society. We can provide a lot of help you need. Where's your Nightwalker organization? It can't be in the 3 headquarters you mentioned, Kiki said at this time. Yes, the nearest one is the Dawn headquarters. Once we pass the high-altitude corridor, it will take a few days to catch up. How can it be so easy to catch up? Lin Xian thought for a while. After passing Jaya's house city, Hangshan Pass, Weihe River, and Longjiang River, to the northeast is the Zidigobi swallowed by the number 5 star abyss, and to the southeast is the Heidong number 7 star abyss. To cross these 2 star abysses, you can only cross the Parma grassland and go through Jinhe and Xingcheng. I guess that the Dawn Center will go through Yunanling, which means that they are not going to take the cross-sea ocean track and bypass the northern continental shelf to cross the Kyonggu Strait. It is good to stay close to the big tree for shade. Lin Xian certainly knows that if his supernatural power can cooperate with a Phoenix society, there will be great room for development. In this crisis-ridden apocalypse, who, except the thugs, does not want to huddle together for warmth? Even if they don't join, just cooperating is much better than escaping in the dark as they did before. However, it is obviously not an easy task to catch up with the main force. Yes, Wei Kexu nodded, it is impossible for so many people to all go on the ocean orbit. They still have to migrate mainly on land, Lin Xian asked. Now there is no satellite communication. With so many scattered emergency teams, how does the Phoenix Club conduct global dispatch? There are many ways. It's more complicated to say. The first is to use unmanned aerial vehicles to guide fixed paths. All emergency teams will report positioning anchor points in advance before the action plan, and the contact points will conduct saturation transmission. In addition, there is multi-point serial communication, commonly known as postman. If it is a widespread dispatch order, there will be special codes in our long-wave radio station, but it is not convenient to tell you this. Positioning anchor point, wow, cyber beacon, Kiki was shocked. Then why don't you simply use the principle of dark radio and use blood essence to strengthen the land signal relay device, and then lay it along the way according to the maximum distance? Would the two places be able to connect? Wei Kexu frowned upon hearing this, and Lin Xian looked at her speechlessly. Hey, do you want to listen to what you're saying? All the units are on the move. What's the point of laying a fixed signal relay? And you need so much strange blood essence. Even if there are no survivors to take it after dark, won't those monsters eat you? That's right, Kiki held her forehead awkwardly. Wei Kexu smiled sheepishly. Information transmission is indeed a big problem, so after you evacuate here, will you also return directly to the Dawn Center? Lin Xian asked. No, Wei Kexu said seriously. Our mission is a one-time mission. If the emergency team hasn't all perished, we will turn north at Jiazhou City and not take the eastern route around the star. Boom. Just as Lin Xian and Wei Kexu were working together to repair the maintenance robot, the entire airport suddenly began to shake violently. The tremor gradually grew stronger, lasting for several seconds before gradually fading. Outside, in the airport plaza, countless survivors felt a whirl of dust, their heads spinning, and the windows vibrating. Suddenly, everyone was agitated and exclaiming. An earthquake, what's going on, what happened? Aboard the Infinity, Ding Junai sat in the research car, a dark radio on the table, gathering information on the order of the Phoenix while researching the hull black chrysanthemum. The tremor suddenly struck, and her brow furrowed. She immediately stood up and walked to the front car. Ms. Chen, this earthquake reminds me of the underground creature we encountered last night in Underground City 9. I suggest contacting Lin Xian and the airport emergency team immediately. I'm contacting them. Chen Sixuan, who had been using her answering machine to call the control tower, also used her intercom to contact Lin Xian. Buzz. Boom. Suddenly, above the airport, the electromagnetic railgun seemed to lock onto something. Suddenly, a dazzling blue light flashed, and the kinetic energy was released, triggering a series of explosions on the high-altitude platform. Boom, boom, boom. The exploding flame scorched the sky. Countless survivors looked up to see a gigantic, bat-winged creature suddenly leap from the darkness toward the outer wall of the high-altitude elevator platform. The creature was pale, with extremely long arms. A snake-like neck sprouted from its torso, and a strange human head adorned its neck. Boom, boom, the unknown, bizarre form swiftly descended from the outer wall. The electromagnetic railgun below rapidly spun, locking onto its target with increasing speed. Buzz. Boom, another burst of electromagnetic cannon fire, instantly severing one of the creature's flanks, sending it plummeting to the platform. Suddenly, the creature's immensely long neck thrust forward and bit the electromagnetic cannon's magnetic barrel. Its maw opened wide, and countless black insects crawled out, burrowing into the cannon. Sparks flew, and the arc of light from the cannon quickly went out. Bang! Another electromagnetic cannon opened fire, shattering the strange creature's head. Blood splattered everywhere, and it was instantly silent. This thing will attack the weapons first. Down below the harbor, Zhang Yun was working with Shasha and Lu Xingchen in Area 8 to resist the surging zombie horde from the periphery. Seeing this scene, he was immediately shocked. Directly attacking the weapons meant that the monster must have some kind of intelligence, and was not simply hunting the survivors. I beg for monthly votes for my new book. Thank you so much. I will add more chapters after 1,000 votes. Chapter 150 Evolution. Zhang Yun, that earthquake just now was very unusual, very similar to the one at Daluo Mountain yesterday. Ren Huiyan quickly approached, swung her hand to her side, and a stray bolt of air blast shattered a charging corpse. Without changing her expression, she asked, "Is this a corpse chaser?" Zhang Yun's gaze turned toward the ascending elevator, his voice growing increasingly hurried. "Whether it's a corpse chaser or not is no longer important. I have a feeling there are more of them. We can't let them attack our anti-aircraft weapons again. Let's go," Zhang Yun said to the building in Lin Xian. "Organize the psychics, and set up air defenses. We'll leave those zombies alone for now." Zhang Yu had a strong premonition that some of those beings in the darkness were wary of the heavy weapons within the airport. If they were lost, the pressure on them would multiply exponentially, and they wouldn't be able to hold out for more than a few hours. Elsewhere, Wei Kexun's face paled as he read the information on the system. "Oh no. Railgun number 3 is offline." Lin Xian immediately stood up. "I'll go check it out." That's not all. Wei Kexun's forehead was covered in sweat, his face visibly pale. He anxiously manipulated something on the system, then slowly raised his head, looking completely lost. "There's more bad news. The earthquake just now broke one of our main cables. The remaining power isn't enough to operate the elevator." Wei Kexun's words made the already tense situation even more desperate. Lin Xian and Kiki's faces fell. "What? The cable's broken too? What should we do then?" Kiki frowned. Wei Kexu was completely panicked, stammering, unable to think of any response. "We'll discuss the power issue later. I'm going to take care of that electromagnetic railgun first." Lin Xian quickly stood up, his face stern. He said to Wei Kexu, "The climbing elevator will be repaired soon. We can't have any problems with the air defense system right now. Otherwise, when those things rush in, we won't even have the chance to escape." "Girl, hey, come up with me first, okay?" Wei Kexu barely regained some composure upon hearing Lin Xian's words. He nodded repeatedly. "Okay, I'll go back to the tower and talk to Team Leader Bai and General Zhang." Lin Xian didn't waste any time and immediately took Kiki with him and ran towards the elevator entrance on the top platform. The two sides began to act separately. A powerful weapon like the electromagnetic railgun couldn't fail. It could directly defend against sky jellyfish. If the defense system failed, the situation tonight would be even more dire. The maintenance elevator rose rapidly, quickly carrying Lin Xian to the access platform dozens of stories high. Boom! As he opened the door, an overwhelming stench assaulted him. At the same moment, a swarm of black insects suddenly crawled through the entrance. "Girl," Lin Xian immediately sensed something was amiss. Kiki, standing beside him, didn't hesitate, raising her hand and trembling. The hundreds of black insects were instantly crushed by a tremendous force, erupting in a shower of green juice and arcing with electricity. Seeing this, he frowned. Outside, a barrage of fire streaked across the night sky, the deafening roar of bullets and artillery shells. A howling wind, mixed with falling snow, signaled the approaching blizzard. He stepped onto the platform and immediately saw a massive monster straggling across it. Its head had been shattered, black blood splattering the ground. Half of its massive black wings dangled from the edge of the platform, swaying in the wind. Behind it, the anti-aircraft electromagnetic railgun had gone dark, occasionally emitting bursts of electric sparks. "Wow, how did that thing get in here?" Kiki exclaimed. She noticed the black aura swirling in front of the monster and, with a single wave of her hand, a level 2 strange blood essence fell into her hand. Lin Xian had no time to dwell on this. He ran directly to the electromagnetic cannon, placed his hand on it, and began the mechanical scan. Scanning. Scan progress 1%. Scanning this large weapon was much more difficult than the maintenance robot just now. Feeling a bit of pressure, Lin Xian immediately said to Kiki, "This might take a while. Keep an eye on that electromagnetic railgun over there and keep the monster away." Kiki nodded. Her intelligence was sharp, and she understood the importance of these anti-aircraft weapons. She had come up to protect Lin Xian and repair them. Scan progress 20%. On the airport platform below, the Iron Guard Brigade soldiers and survivors holding the front lines were under increasing pressure. Large strange entities continued to pour in from Area D, where the train platform was located. The anti-aircraft weapons on the Silver Star, docked on the platform, activated their fire control radars and opened fire continuously. The anti-aircraft guns and rapid-fire machine guns aboard Longshan No. 1 unleashed a dazzling barrage of fire, sweeping back wave after wave of the threats pouring in along the high walls. Ugh! A swift, crimson-colored ghost burst from the zombie horde, leaving a scarlet shadow as it suddenly slammed onto the roof of Lin Xian No. 1. It instantly ripped half the neck of a gunner who was firing, sending blood splattering and drawing a frenzied barrage of fire from nearby defenders. Look out, this monster is fast. As the gunner fell, another survivor from Lin Xian No. 1 lunged at him, continuing his fire. The crimson ghost scrambled across the roof, sending numerous rounds flying in the air. For a moment, stray bullets flew and flames splattered everywhere. Ugh! The red figure let out a strange cry and rapidly approached a machine gunner on the roof. Seeing this, the machine gunner quickly moved his gun and fired. Ta-da-da! Many bullets missed, a few of which pierced through, leaving a pool of blood, but it failed to stop the figure's sudden attack. The machine gunner's face paled as its claws struck. Bang! Just in the nick of time, a resounding gunshot rang out. The figure, about to reach the machine gunner, suddenly exploded in a volley of rotten flesh in front of him. With a powerful whistling sound, a torrent of blood sprayed onto his face. Killed. That was a close call. Chen Dong, are you okay? His teammates shouted at him. The machine gunner's brain suddenly short-circuited, and as he reacted, he quickly wiped the blood from his face and glanced in the direction of the shooting. He saw the black muzzle of a heavy sniper rifle protruding from the window of the black armored train in the distance. It's okay, the machine gunner nodded nervously in that direction, then immediately raised his gun to continue fighting the zombies. On the Infinity, Chen Sixuan held the A-33K heavy anti-material sniper rifle and kept adjusting her breathing. Her shoulders hurt, and her whole body felt like it was falling apart, but the feeling of shooting made her feel more and more clear. For some reason, after following Lin Xian all the way, she felt a lot stronger, even though she couldn't lift anything with her hands or shoulders. The most important thing is that Chen Sixuan felt that her observation skills had become more acute. Such accurate shooting, but you seem very surprised. Ding Junai's indifferent voice came from the side. She put her hands in her pockets and just looked at Chen Sixuan quietly. Chen Sixuan took a deep breath and continued to aim with his sniper rifle, responding, "This is my second time shooting, really? Although I don't know much about weapons, the anti-material sniper rifle in your hand is quite heavy. Judging from the sound of the gunshot and the power of the shot, the recoil must be strong. You have not received professional training, and you are not a combatant in this car, but you have such a talent. It seems that you have evolved." Chen Sixuan frowned slightly. Evolve? What do you mean? Literally, Ding Junai said, the longer you survive in the dark, the more you will evolve. You don't have to be afraid, nor do you need to regard this as a burden. Evolution is not necessarily a bad thing. Chen Sixuan was slightly stunned. She immediately understood what Ding Junai meant. She pursed her lips and was silent for a moment, then whispered, "I'm not afraid at all. If I can also have enough ability to help everyone, I will be happy to accept this kind of evolution." Ding Junai's expression remained unchanged. "I admire your attitude. The people in this car are all positive. Such a team will have strong survivability in any environment. I beg for monthly votes for my new book. Thank you so much. I will add more chapters if I get 1,000 votes." End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.